Welcome to
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
Yes, it's Cleveland's longest running podcast and the place to hang with your internet besties. Got questions or comments? The email address for the show is podcast@stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Crunchy, of course, being spelled with a K.
Stays Crunchy.
You can also give us a call or message us at 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311.
Stays Crunchy.
We're available anywhere fine podcasts are, and of course at the website stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show wherever possible, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And now,
Stays Crunchy.
on with the show.
Crunchy. Stays Crunchy. Stays Crunchy.
Box was saying last week how he has a 2,000 song playlist. And I've ridden with Box all over the country at this point, all over the through parts of the continent at this point, so I know he has a strong whatever music. What made you go with the one singular playlist as opposed to situational playlists?
There wasn't really a rhyme or reason to it. I've had Spotify since before I worked with you. I had Spotify when I was at my old company because it was a couple bucks a month at that time, and I just started starring songs into a playlist, so that I wouldn't lose track of them, and that way I could have music on the laptop. I didn't have to download songs and shit. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. That was just where I just kept putting them. And here we are 12 plus years later. And if you give me 1 second, I can tell you exactly how many songs are on that playlist. 1,997. I recently,
so it's we hadn't crossed the 2,000 barrier.
Yeah, I added a couple songs a couple days ago. Because sometimes what it is I'll see compilations on on Instagram. I saw one the other night. It was this is what was topping the charts in the summer of 1994. And I was like, oh man, I know that song. I like that song. I like that song. So I went in and I added Coolio's Gangster's Paradise, Fantastic Voyage, See You When You Get There, 1, 2, 3, 4, something new, and Get Up, Get Down. And so, that was 5 songs just like that were added to my playlist. That's just been growing, like I said, for over 12 years now. I have had separate playlists before, but it was usually it used to be on an iPod. But there was one time I had a playlist on here, and it was for working out. So I had wrestling songs and shit like that, just strictly for working out. But general listening is the vast playlist with everything.
The last thing I heard you say was, and as you were talking about your playlist, you're talking about the gym playlist. You said it had some gym songs, and then you just stopped. I was like, what?
I heard wrestling songs.
All I said was that I had a gym playlist that had wrestling theme songs, and some rock songs and stuff. But otherwise, I just stick mainly to the giant playlist for car driving and stuff.
So So I have 2, 3. I have 30 playlists. The one with the most songs on it is, of course, I call it Dumb Luck. And it's literally, you remember we used to be waiting around in Chipotle Box, you know what I'm saying, just waiting on your food or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I would just, anything I hear in that motherfucker, I would just put up the Genius app and use the little microphone to grab that song and just get the music from where we are. So I have any song that I hear that's just the most, if I catch it from those random places, somebody's playing something anywhere, I put that on that list of Dumb Luck. Dumb Luck is 100 songs deep. I have Would You Like to Try a Sample, which is literally it's a playlist of songs. It's the song that was sampled and the song that sampled it. So that one's 89 songs deep. It's off. It's an odd number because there are songs that sample. There are multiple songs that sample the same song, so that's why that one is mathematic like that. Songs from the socials. The songs I hear, songs I usually get off of Instagram, TikTok. Somebody playing something in the background on Twitter. Somebody playing something in the background of a TV show or something like that. There, I will snag that song. One of the songs on this, I definitely heard in the background of a video. And I was like, what song is that? So that's where I got that one from.
I had a question about the sample one. Do you have any songs that sample multiple multiple songs. Like I know,
What do you mean?
like for example, "Hey Ladies" by the Beastie Boys is like a sample of like 5 different songs.
Oh no. So like if I go take a look at would you like to try? If this playlist is called "Would you like to try a sample?" And so I love the song "Hustler's Ambition" by 50 Cent, but I know it samples "I Need You" by Frankie Beverly and Maze, or Maze featuring Frankie Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
I believe is how that band works. So that's how that works. I love the song "Bad Boys." It samples Barrington Levy's "Here I Come," so it's like that. But let me see, which song is it? There's one if I scroll down a little bit. Oh, like Old Town Road, Lil Nas X sample 34 Ghost 4 by 9 Inch Nails. And so here it is. People Make the World Go Round. It was a Michael Jackson song.
Mm-hmm.
But Naughty by Nature sampled it and West Side Connection sampled it. So I have both of those guys underneath that song. So it's like that's how it ends up being, how that kind of ends up working.
I know there's,
and
I know you probably have "Footsteps in the Dark" and 5 different songs.
I do have Footsteps, and I have a Good Day after that. I love finding out is weird things like a tribute to West is a song by Little Beaver, who sampled that, of course, was Slum Village on a song called Conant Gardens. And I was like, I've never heard a Little Beaver in my entire life, but that was pretty dope. And then like Didn't You Know by Erykah Badu samples, I keep forgetting. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? So then I end up putting I Keep Forgetting on my playlist called A Little Yachty. I have a playlist called A Little Yachty, which is all just like yacht rock, which I'm working on. That one I'm kind of building that one as we go along here. But my exercise are getting, like, if I say kind of gymish playlist is has 67 songs on it. That's about and let me see. I'm trying to see. I was working on a diss track playlist when I was doing a lot of during the whole Drake Kendrick Lamar back and forth. I was on a lot of podcasts, even on my own podcast, talking about it. So I had to finally just develop a playlist because I was always discussing various diss songs, and I kind of needed a quick way to get to them. I got a weed smoking playlist that I never use, but it exists as such because, like I said, that was another one I'm building. It's called Puff Puff Give, and so that one has like 8 songs, nothing to it. Because I think some of these are just constantly works in progress. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to add something to it. I got one I really dig, which I call Same Song, and what it is, you know, in hip hop, oftentimes somebody will use the exact same beat. So I originally heard the song "Home Sweet Home" by Razzcast, and he said he had bought that beat from The Alchemist for like $5,000. And then maybe, I don't know, a year or so later, I don't know. I feel like sometime afterwards, the locks rapped over it. Well, I guess technically it was Jadakiss. It was on his solo album on that song "We Gonna Make It," and it's the exact same beat. Nothing has changed. So I have, like I said, I have a playlist called Same Song, and so what's on there is "Home Sweet Home" and "We Gonna Make It." "Give Me That Ass" by the Beatnuts and "Men in Black" by Will Smith, and "Ice" by Ghostface and "Come Home with Me" by Cameron. So it's like these songs that use the exact same track. So that's kind of some stuff I'm actually kind of working on. My Christmas playlist, 26 songs. I got one called Grooves, which is basically just R&B joints, but not really. I think I got. If I looked at it, is there anything besides R&B on? No, I guess not. Well, no, I got a bunch of Skag songs on there. Is that really? That's not really R&B, but that one is 33 songs, and so that's it's. I find it interesting that the box method, you know, what I'm saying, to just like throw it all in there. And I like I said, I read with box. It's rare I'll hear a repeat. You know what I'm saying? But of course, then I got this, anal retentive. I have to organize my cabinets, basically, situation for my playlist. So that's how I end up doing. Now, you use YouTube Music. Does it have playlists and options and stuff like that there? I don't know how to work that shit.
One thing that's weird about YouTube Music, and I guess I use it as an old stodgy old man, is hold on a second. Everyone tells me I'm an old man because I stick with YouTube Music and I don't want to go with anything else. But I have a bunch of playlists on YouTube that I'm happy with.
YouTube Music is literally now the default application for podcasts and music on Android devices.
Really?
It's like you're just doing what everybody's doing now. Like I said, a lot of people use Spotify, some people use Apple Music, whatever. But again, they got rid of Google Podcasts. They got rid of Google Music, which was I had my Google Music was smooth. When Google Music existed, even when I was on iOS, I used Google Music because I had that shit set up and ready to roll. But of course, they always get rid of stuff. Like they just announced they're getting rid of Chromecast. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Not Chrome. Google the boxes, the little sticks they use, whatever them shits is called. Are they called Chromecast? Is that what the device is called?
I don't know.
Anyway, Google be on that bullshit, and so
YouTube does, but YouTube does have playlists that you can go and search and find. A lot of them are what people make. I don't know if Spotify's the same way. A lot of them are. I think some of them are AI made. One thing that YouTube Music does that I don't care for, it will download shit. If I play it multiple times, it will automatically download it. Like, that's pretty presumptuous of you, YouTube Music. I didn't ask for that. My kids went on and played Mamma Mia. I didn't want Mamma Mia on my damn downloads. What are you doing? So Mamma Mia songs are downloaded on my YouTube Music.
That's like what do I want to say? What word do I want to say? A side effect of YouTube. Because like Leo sometimes be on my YouTube on the TV, just because just whatever, and all of a sudden my playlist has like ghost hunting videos, you know what I'm saying? Which is just something I'm not a fan of. I'm not watching those, but he loves hanging out and watching them. So it just kind of happens. So it ends up being like, well, you watch this, I'm gonna recommend it for a minute there. So when we were in Philly, I signed into my YouTube and Box was watching just a Magic video here and there. And for a minute there, I was getting fed Magic the Gathering videos, and so it's just a goofy side effect of YouTube being what it is. It's dumb, so I kind of let it walk in that regard.
Is it the ghost hunting like those guys that used to wear the black T-shirts and go, "Come at me, ghost! I'm here, ghost! Come and that ghost is making me want to take a shot of liquor." Like, what the heck? How's a ghost do that?
Who are your ghost videos you watch, kid? Is it Sam and Kobe? Sam and Kobe, and you might hear them. They're fine. They're never doing anything to. They keep about PG-13.
Okay.
So if your kids ever bump into it, you're never going to see too much stuff. Now it's haunting shit, and they go into places that are supposedly haunted. So it can be in a whatever, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So. That's how it rolls. But I said, when Bach said that the other, when I was editing the show and I heard him say it, I was like, and we've just talked about it before, but I find it so fascinating that, and then I saw a TikTok today, and a woman was like, I have a playlist of X amount of songs. Why does Spotify keep serving me the same songs? Like it says, I only hear like the same songs over and over again. And somebody was recommending to her that she needs to clear her Spotify cache because apparently it'll get going where it will just kind of play you the same song over and over again. And I was like, well, that's stupid. But I also figured out recently it's a lot of apps we should probably be clearing the cache on because TikTok has a deeper cache than you think it would. Instagram also has a pretty deep cache, and it's taking up so much space on your phone, taking up more space than you probably are aware of. And it's like, oh shit, if you're trying to make some room, because some people are like, yo, bro, you're taking up too much space, only have so much storage to be had. Then it's a clearing caches on applications that might have a filled cache might be what is your saving grace.
I have to do some cleaning up then.
Mayhaps. I mean, you may or may not actually have an issue. If you find yourself being like, man, how am I so out of storage? Go check and see what apps are doing the most heavy lifting. For whatever reason, Instagram be doing a lot, and people are always complaining about why has Instagram got to be this large? And I'm like, I go look at it on my phone. I'm like, it's nowhere near that big on my phone. But I'm on a different OS than most people. Most people are on Android or some offshoot of it, and so that's just all that ever is. Science people. That's how I get down. All right, let me get to my show notes, and then I'm going to sing you a song, and after that, we'll do a show. See how easy this is. That's how this functions.
Sounds easy.
It never actually is. End up choking. I never know how to get my breathing right when it's a lot of lyrics. So, deep breath. Our self-lord and master shall bring disaster to evil factors. Demonic chapters shall be captured by kings. Through storms of days after, until the earth from the sun through triple darkness to blast you, with a force that can't be compared to any firepower. For its mind power shared, the brain waves causes vessels to circulate, like constellations reflect at night off the lake. Word to the Father and Mother Earth, seeking everlasting life through this hell for what it's worth. Look, listen, and observe, and watch another see cipher pulling my peeps to the curb. Heed the words. It's like ghetto-style proverbs. The righteous pay a sacrifice to get what they deserve. See how I ran out of breath? Cannot afford to be confined to a cell. Brainwaves swell, turning the desert to a well. Experience the best teacher. Thoughts will spray like street sweepers, little daddy street preacher. Illustrious feature. Narrator you select. Accompanied by deck plus the DJ you respect. The 7.5 combined over the front line. The 10%ers promoting slander in the airtime. Bear in mind, jewels be the tools of the trade. Sharp blades, heavenly praise, and dues are paid. Above the crowds, above the clouds where the sounds are original. Infinite skills create miracles. Warrior spiritual. Above the clouds raining down, holding it down. Welcome to it. It's episode 549, and we keeps it luxurious in Maui. I'm your host, Entertainer 713, joined by my other host, the eBay Emperor. It's Lunchbox 2099.
Yeah, I decided to show up this week.
I'm always grateful for your presence. And returning for this week is none other than the RV in Puerto Rico. It's my homeboy, Big Gabe. What's the word, bro?
Oh, not much. Speaking of YouTube music, that's a song that downloaded for me. Above the Clouds.
I'll just swing it right there.
You have it.
Can I point at it? You'll see that poster right there is for the moment of truth, which actually, I forgot I had that poster. That's the poster from before I had children. That poster is basically when that album came out, and it was hidden in the attic for forever. And then my birthday, Christmas, some holiday of some sort, Vanessa and the kids had framed it for me, and so I was like, okay. So now that's kind of like a part of my whole record situation over there. So I dig it. Take a picture of that wall just so the patrons can get an understanding of what I'm talking about, and then they can see that moment of truth poster. Go on.
I was going to use this opportunity to tell a joke that I made up for my family, and they didn't appreciate it. So I thought maybe you guys appreciate it. Okay. So why couldn't Children and Family Services help the abused child? Because when they asked him to describe his dad, they said, because when they asked them to describe his dad, he says, "Beats me."
Oh, that's a dude joke. That's not a family joke. You can't make that joke for family. They're going to get it, but not appreciate it.
They did get it. I was afraid they didn't.
I know. I'm saying they're going to get it. They're just not going to appreciate it. Holy smoke! Oh man. No, Ant again this week. Ant is living a busy life. He will hopefully be back sooner than later. I make no promises. This is going to be the last episode I re-record using the service we've been using. It's been a bit too hinky as of late for my taste, and I give them too much money for it to be behaving like it has been. So I'm not guaranteeing you a show next week. We're going to be in the midst of some motion our own selves. So maybe, maybe not. But you know what it is? I'm going to give you a couple of news stories, both selected by Daniel this week. Thank you, Dan. And
my work here
they're
is
going to take some stories. I don't think I have anything. I don't really have anything on the plate. We're going to do some Amateur Assholes. Actually, we're only going to do two Amateur Assholes because one of them is an Amateur Asshole with multiple updates so long that I feel like I might as well just I will only do the two, and then we'll be out, and it's all good, people. It's breezy. That's how we get down to get down. First story up is if you recall me talking about it a week or so ago, 2 episodes back, I think, how on the power outage, I had considered trying to get some help from my insurance for losing, a deep freeze and fridge worth of shit. But the insurance is basically like, I don't know, man. Box said this story is from 19 News. Michelle Nix on the byline. Northeast Ohio business denied insurance claim after losing nearly $45,000 during the historic power outage. That storm, remember I told you, knocked out almost all of Northeast Ohio for a stretch. Cleveland, Ohio, WOIO on the whatever. The impact of that historic power outage here in Northeast Ohio is still being felt. At least one local business saying its insurance claims for tens of thousands of dollars has been rejected by its insurance company, Mesa Underwriters Specialty Insurance Company of Pennsylvania. Mesa and Pennsylvania seem like two things that should not be going together. I guess Mesa is just a Spanish word for table, so table underwriter specialty insurance? Sure. It's been just about 2 weeks since the storms knocked out power to nearly 500,000 customers in Northeast Ohio. Sean Watterson, co-owner of Happy Dog on Detroit Avenue, says the business lost nearly $45,000 between lost food, products, and a week's worth of business. The insurance company is cashing our checks, and when we need them the most, the reason you buy insurance is that's when they walked away from us. Watterson tells 19 News he's still in shock after being notified by the insurance company that they refused to cover their claim. We lost close to $15,000 in product and we had in house, and a typical week's worth of business here is worth here. A typical week's worth of business here is $30,000, and don't make that back. And you don't make that back. You don't get that week back. What's perplexing to Watterson is that after 16 years of insurance payments and no other claims filed in all those years, why Happy Dog was denied being reimbursed for the crippling storm is still unclear. The fact that the power got knocked out by the storm, they seem to be saying because the storm itself didn't damage you, it's just the loss of power. We're not going to cover you for that. Watterson says it's like trying to survive COVID all over again. For us, it was almost like PTSD because we had to shut down at the start of COVID, and having lived this is how this is written. So, and living through that once, probably should be having lived through that once. That's not something we ever want to go through again. The weather crisis could literally have destroyed their business, according to Watterson, had it not been for a grant through the National Independent Vendors Association that helped them cover some of the immediate needs. This very easily could have taken us under if we didn't have the cash flow support. We would be going out trying to get payday lender loans. Good Lord. Wow. You don't sell insurance and then welch out on the claims when a storm hits. Happy Dog's owners have now filed a complaint with the Ohio Department of Insurance. It's bullshit. And that's what it's always going to be. It's like, had it been the storm and water damage, they would have been like, oh, you're not insured for water. Had it been what? It's like we buy insurance because it's like we've been told all these years it'll keep you safe. Some shit goes sideways, you'll be able to take care of a business, or you'll be covered in business because you pay for this insurance. And then here's an example of a business, and not even just a personal guy who goes to this insurance company and is like, hey man, I'm in a way because of a storm, because of the results of said storm, and they're like, oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh, but
I ain't giving you shit.
But it wasn't the storm; it was the power outage caused by the storm. Not the same thing. I've been a long time. I've said this in the text chat. I long time been saying that hey, they're gonna be here. They're gonna hear it. Fuck insurance companies. You pay them for in case shit happens. In case shit happens, you have to pay them a little bit more, called a premium, and sometimes they don't always pay you back. It's a scam.
It's absolute horse apples. And so what? Now we need a more specific insurance. This specific insurance will be for if your power goes out. Is that what it's going to be? Because that's what it's going to end up being. You know what it is. They're going to be like, well, now you must be insured for specifically if your lights go out. It's whole shit. And like I said, and then it's like I'm mad at this company's insurance. I'm saying, but also like I said at the same time, I've had such good experiences with car insurance that I don't even know what to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the opposite of that for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like my son wrecked my car, then I totaled my car, and it was all covered by insurance. I recently enough, as y'all, if you listeners know, I hit a deer here in town. They said no fault, didn't raise my rates. In fact, my rates went down this month by a substantial amount, and they fixed my car. So it's like I've had good experience with car insurance, but like I said, when I called my insurance company, it was like, "Hey, what's up with this? My lights went out, I lost a fridge. What's up with that?" And they're like, "Oh, you pay your $500 deductible, and maybe we'll cover it." I'm like, "Well, baby, $500 would just replace all the groceries. Why would I be bothered? Giving you the $500 for you to then say possibly, nah."
But I had to switch insurance companies because my last insurance company was complaining that I was making too many claims. Like, well, what do you want? What do you want me to do? Stuff keeps happening to us.
Yeah, you guys had like a severe hailstorm, like basically destroyed the first RV you guys got.
Yeah,
right?
that was I guess the straw that broke the camel's back, and now we got a new insurance company.
Yeah, it's wild, and like I said, I wonder if there's something like I need to be looking into deeper. Well, I don't know. Next time I'll re-up the renter's insurance, which won't be until start of next year. I feel like I need to take a deep look at things like power outages and so forth and see what is covered and what is not covered, so personal property and the like, because I don't know, man. I think it's horse apples. I think it's crazy to be coming out of pocket. Like I said, Happy Dog's been in business for what, like, God, over 10 years, it feels like, right?
Yeah,
at least, yeah.
So and so yeah. So and in fact, you can get Happy Dog at our local baseball stadium. And so I'm saying, so they are a part of the fabric of this community at this point, and they can't be properly insured by a company. It's nonsense. Just absolute dreck. Also, that's not, I guess, how insurance companies are. I'm like, that's not even too large a claim. $45,000. I guarantee they probably pay way more than that in premiums over the years. And so,
yeah, garbage.
Very upset with that one. This one more made me laugh. And what's funny about this article Box sent me, work on my phone. Wouldn't work on the computer, Box, but then of course we have means now because Box also came through with that. If you need to know, it's archive.ph, and in fact, the link you get to this might be the archive.ph link that I send you, so that way you can see this. Ohio marijuana companies hyped coming recreational sales. The state slapped them with $212,500 in fines. Can you believe that? Cleveland.com, which I know you don't use as a source, but I mean, come on, bro. Laura Hancock on the byline, Columbus, Ohio, in the days leading up to the start of recreational marijuana sales. And again, I don't like using the word marijuana because it's racist. 5 cannabis licensees. Now, how do you go from marijuana to cannabis? They know the right word. They just refuse to use it. 5 cannabis licensees posted signs and messages on social media, sent emails, and one even brought an ice cream truck to the dispensary to promote adult use sales.
Or the Cheech and Chong.
But none of those promotions were pre-approved by the Ohio Division of Cannabis Control, which must okay all marketing and advertising under state rules. The division fined the businesses $212,500. The fines underscore how seriously the Division of Cannabis Control is taking its role regulating the quit saying marijuana, bro, the cannabis business. The division is closely monitoring offenses, large and small. While some violations, such as the ice cream truck, were in direct violation of guidance that the division sent dispensaries this summer, others may be considered more trivial. For instance, the division noted that one dispensary used the word recreational in communications, which it said was inappropriate. The division uses the words non-medical or adult use cannabis,
as opposed to kid use.
The state law, yeah, I like adult use because it just whatever. Non-medical is just, yeah, we get that, buddy. But adult use is like, it's for the grown-ups. The state law voters approved last November legalizing recreational marijuana. Again, quit calling it that. States that the Division of Cannabis Control can adopt rules regarding advertising to prevent false and misleading ads or ads targeting minors, excessive use of other illegal activity. The rules shall not overly burden the legitimate commercial speech of adult use cannabis operators in communicating with adult use consumers, the law states. At this point, the Division of Cannabis Control hasn't proposed any advertising rules for recreational marijuana. Marijuana businesses must follow the advertising rules already in place for medical marijuana businesses, said division spokesman James Crawford. The division has initiated enforcement actions against several licensees who have violated program advertising rules. He said in an email, all licensees fully understand they are required to adhere to the medical rules for advertising and violations of the directive are being taken seriously. The division continues to monitor licensees for compliance with all program rules to ensure a level playing field for all licensees. The following penalties were assessed by the division. Greenleaf Apothecaries doing business as The Botanist, a $150,000 penalty. The Botanist, which owns 5 dispensaries, received the largest fine of all the businesses for bringing in an ice cream truck on the first day of recreational sales, according to an August 9th letter sent to the business. The letter says the business can request the hearing to argue its case about the violations and the fine. Also that day, a Botanist employee posted on the retailer's social media page a photo of the ice cream truck and the caption, "Free ice cream." The division's letter states, all marketing and advertising materials have to be pre-approved by the division before they can be posted according to the rules. The Botanist displayed a sign outside on August 6th that was larger than 16 inches by 18 inches that was not attached to the dispensary's permanent structure. That was also a violation. The Botanist invited the ice cream truck despite July 18th guidance from the state describing permissible activities at dispensaries. The division sent a follow-up reminder August 5th, a day before dispensaries began selling to Ohioans age 21 and older. The July 18th guidance said food trucks, other food offered for sale or complimentary was prohibited. Bro, then come on, get the fuck out of here. Yes, I'm going to find the shit out of you. If I've told you multiple times, don't do this shit, and they did it anyway, you got to just take this L. Hold it. Additionally, the guidance said unapproved signage outside the dispensary was prohibited. It said violators faced a civil penalty of up to $50,000 per violation. Man, it's a real cut and dry situation on this one. I don't really root for the state a lot, but hey, I'm not going to read the rest of these. There are various fines associated with the rest of these guys. Let's see. Rise. Okay, so Green Thumb Industries, also known as Rise, got a because this is my local dispensary, $12,500 penalty. On June 6th, the company sent an email to some medical patients saying Rise locations will be open to service recreational and medical guests during the following hours, June 10th and onwards. The company hadn't yet been given a dual-use license, so the email was a lie. So that email was not approved by the Division of Cannabis Control. Within 3 hours of sending the email, the company realized the mistake. 3.5 hours later, it emailed a correction. The division learned of the email 2 days later. The state said using the word recreational was inappropriate to refer to adult use, pointing to a state medical rule that says Ohio has compelling interest in ensuring that advertising and marketing campaigns involving medical do not create an impression that recreational use has any potential health or therapeutic benefits. The Rise doesn't admit to the allegation according to the consent agreement, but it signed the agreement in lieu of further litigation and agreed to pay the fine. After the fine is paid, the matter will not be recorded as discipline against the company, the agreement states. Well, that's kind of cool. That means there is some leniency there. The company had to post a sign on its door clarifying adult use sales hadn't begun and the earlier email was incorrect. The sign remained in place until its dispensaries were approved to open for recreational sales. Oh, goodness me. The one thing I think that this is horseshit about is there is over on Brook Park Road is a giant billboard that says, "Come here and buy THC 8." You know what I'm saying? That the weed they derive from hemp and or all kinds of other names that they have going on there. There was a head shop right next to the dispensary in Cleveland Heights that had a sandwich board outside of it that said, buy legal Delta 8 from us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people who aren't even selling the real deal can advertise just loosey-goosey. But people who are out here actually, selling actual cannabis, can't, without having first gotten approval and a specific type of approval, can't advertise what they have going on. And I think that's just horse apples. I think it's bullshit, and Ohio got to get better about that. We'll figure it out. It's all new still, and it's a state that most of the state government was not cool with this law. Yeah, but it is what it is, and it passed. Again, I got to give it up to that dude in the Ohio House who was like, I ain't touching this shit. Fuck y'all. Because the Ohio Senate and the governor was like, y'all got to change this law. Y'all got to, the THC amounts are too high and the amounts of plants you let people have is too high and blah, blah, blah. And the House just would not budge. And they said, nah, that law will stand as written because it's a well-written law. It really is a well-written piece of legislation. And, here we are. So
I didn't know marijuana was a racist term. Excuse my ignorance.
Yeah. It was one of the things they made up to basically talk bad about Mexicans.
Oh,
so I used the actual term cannabis when I
remember that from now on.
It's not fully racist. If you go look it up, there's some wiggle, but it did come from a fucked up place. So I try to use the actual turn of phrase, which is of course cannabis, and also I just like the word. It's a nice word, and it actually is the scientific word for this particular plant and its many variations. So that's how we get started.
Also, and I'll preface this by saying you might want to cut this out. Is it okay to grow in your house?
Yes, you can have up to 6 plants per adult, up to 12 plants. And so this is all legal in the great state of Ohio now. And so I don't know how weed plants work. Is it like, just your potted ficus? Is it? I don't know. So I don't know what.
I know some people growing
6
stuff.
plants like.
I was going to name names, but fuck that.
Yeah, we don't do that because what I'm saying it's still hinky federally.
Yes, true.
Even though it has been lowered in its schedule by President Joe Biden. And so its schedule is now lower than it's not a Schedule 1 drug anymore. A class numbers. They moved it down the line a little bit, so it's a little less, a little off. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Ohio is like I said, that's the thing. Like I said, the governor and the Ohio Senate wanted to lower that amount. They were like, no, just 6 plants for any house. But the law was written is 6 plants per adult, up to 12 plants in your house. Dig it. So I'm never going to be bothered trying to grow my own. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe tending some weed plants could be relaxing. I don't know, but no, I just go to the store and buy some weed at this point, which is very nice. It's I chuckle because well, I'm just gonna be real with y'all, man. I was smoking a joint recently, and
which is your right,
was like, I'm like, I've had my fill. Now, back in the day, it used to be, you keep your roaches, you know what I'm saying? Because, just in case, you never know, that might be all the weed you got. I'm like, that's not even the time I live in anymore. If I want more, 1, I have more. 2, I can go get more without having to go see my man Bright White. If you know, you know. Or to a strange house on a little side street off of Clark. Again, if you know, you know. And man, that house got raided like recently, not recently in like my time, but like back in the day, like after a visit I had there, that house got raided. It was like, yo, that before the grace of God go I. You know what I'm saying? That because I could have been in that house and that would have been my life. But anywho,
you could have just done what I did when I got arrested in Cleveland Heights and say, hey, I was just taking a nap upstairs. What's going on down here, guys? You selling weed? I didn't know that.
Well, the thing is this. I sat there. And Vanessa's just sitting on the porch and she can't really smoke because her lungs are, say she had blood clots some years ago, so she tries to keep her lungs pretty pure. And I was like, I just thumped it off to the street. Because guess what? I didn't need it. I didn't care. And I was like, what an interesting feeling to not be. Like I said, used to be, people kept roaches in an ashtray. They would be scraping the bottom of their dang the bowl, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, trying to get by. But it's nice to not be concerned with it now. I'm not a heavy chiefer or nothing like that at all. You know what I'm saying? It just was nice to be able to go to the store, buy something, roll something up, and then enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, cool. And again, just did not care. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to. If anything, I feel like probably relighting things is probably not good for your lungs. You know what I'm saying? You remember? I don't know if Boxer has never smoked in his life, but you remember back in the day, people would smoke shorts. They go back to a cigarette.
Mm.
The very notion was disgusting to me, and I was like, why would I do that with my weed? No, I like a pure smoke, and then we done with it. So that is what's up, people. I'm telling you, get down with the get down. That was your news for the week. Thanks again, Box, for digging those up for me. Or, well, not intentionally for me, but it worked out that they were used by me. First up, as always, is Tatum. In fact, that means it's story time with Lunchbox. Box, man, what's going on with you, big baby?
I've been dealing with sinus headaches since like last Friday. So I was incapacitated for a good portion of last Friday. And the problem with that was earlier in the week, my brother had asked me if I would take him to go get a laptop. And he's like, oh, you want to do it Friday evening? And I was like, no, because I wanted to play Call of Duty, which ended up not happening because of the headache. But I told him I'd take him Saturday. And then we could go get tacos at this place called Agave and Rye, because I thought it was at Crocker Park, which is where he wanted to go to the Apple store. And then I realized they don't have an Agave and Rye at Crocker Park. And so, but I'd already made the commitment. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, I got to go to Agave and Rye. It's either downtown or it's out in Woodmere. And so I got the headache Friday, which like really fucked me up. Like I had like night sweats that night, and it was not good. And my brother has this bad habit of just showing up unannounced. So like he just randomly showed up at my house Saturday afternoon, like when I like didn't know he was coming, and like I hadn't showered and I was still kind of recovering. Like like I said, I've been dealing with the headaches off and on for like almost last week. It's getting better, but like at times like my face feels swollen and shit like that. So I wasn't really like I was kind of hoping he would cancel, but he didn't. So he showed up, and so I was asking him, I'm like, like why? I'm like, did you pick like the Apple Store there for a specific reason? And he goes, no, he just goes, I just know that they sell MacBooks there. I was like, well, they sell MacBooks all over the place, right? Like other stores have MacBooks, not just the Apple Store. So I was like, how about we look around before we just decide to blindly go to the Apple Store and pay Apple Store prices? So I pulled up like apple.com and I was looking at the prices of their merchandise, which would be reflective most likely inside the Apple Store. And then like I pulled up Best Buy, which is like right down the street from my house, and I have a credit card there. And so like he told me what he wanted, like in like what his budget was and what he was kind of looking for. So I found the exact same two laptops. One was on Best Buy, one was on apple.com. The one on apple.com, which would have been at the Apple Store, was $999. The exact same laptop was at Best Buy for $849. So I was like,
solid.
I was like, why don't we just go get the laptop, 2 miles from my house? We can have it in 5 minutes, or we can drive 30 minutes away and you can spend an extra $170 with the extra money in taxes. So he went with my plan. Yeah. And so I put the laptop on my credit card, and so I managed to grind some rewards points off of the young lad. And because like with the Best Buy credit card, I get like 2.5 points. So I got like 200 points almost off that purchase. With what I already had, like I'm gonna have like $60 in Best Buy credit saved up. But so yeah, like I ordered it for pickup, and we drove there. They brought it out. He couldn't even wait. He was like a fucking kid at Christmas. Like he opened it in the car. He was fucking with it while I was driving back to the house. So then we dropped the laptop off at my house, and then I drove us out to Woodmere to Agave and Rye, which is a taco place that I I'd heard of but never been to, because they put it in downtown after our office closed. So like
Yeah.
I'd only recently been there for the first time during, funnily enough, the power outage event, and I was really impressed with the food. So I took them there, and it was funny because like I learned a lesson from the first time I went about like eyes being bigger than your stomach and ordering what you think is going to be like enough food and then finding out it's too much. I warned them ahead of time, and I should have been more forceful about it once I realized that I was paying for the fucking food, because all in all, this meal ended up costing me $90 between our food and tip. Um, but of course, he ordered more food than he could eat, and then he ended up having to take some of it back with him. I did too, but I did it on purpose, especially because it was my money. But so we ended up coming back to my house, and it was like at that point it was like Saturday evening, and I bought a new router a couple weeks ago. So the internet at my house now is like fast as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like way faster than what he has at home.
Except on this damn tablet.
What I think it is this tablet's older, so I don't think it utilizes Wi-Fi 6. So it's running on just the normal 2.4 hertz frequency, which if I had a tablet that ran the Wi-Fi 6, it would be picking it up better. But like I said, I have to just check the iPad. Like I said, part of the reason I haven't done it is because I've been fucking sleeping a lot because I've been dealing with these headaches. Like I took off work the last 2 days. Like I logged on a Monday and I realized that like I didn't want to be there. And so I looked at the work calendar to see who was off, and no one was off the whole week until tomorrow. So I just messaged my boss and I was like, hey, can I take vacation time Tuesday and Wednesday? So I literally just took off the last 2 days. I came back today just so I could rest. So like I haven't really been doing much of anything. Like I haven't gone to play Magic I've skipped the last 2 weeks. Just been kind of lounging around the house. Like I went out and played Pokemon yesterday, but I just mostly just watched TV, took a nap. Our power went out Tuesday night for a couple hours again. Like a power line over here blew. So I went and visited my family. I went over to my dad's for a couple hours and had dinner over there and hung out with them. And but my brother was here with that laptop, and so he stayed here. He set up everything. He was playing games, and he ended up dipping out about 10:30. But he seemed happy with his purchase. It's just interesting because like he bought that with money that he earned, so it's cool to see him. Granted, the job he's got, they baby him through it, and he gets paid to sometimes hardly do anything, but he's still technically working. So I guess I should say that I'm proud of him for using his money to buy something useful rather than just pissing it away on some worthless junk. So big ups to him for making an adult choice.
And maybe, I don't know if you know or not, but Apple products MacBooks are super, super good for photography and video editing. Like that's the machines you want to be doing that kind of stuff on. And so it helps his education, sure, but it also can be like, that's his goal in life. You know what I'm saying? That just helps him become a better editor of photos and video and so forth and so on. So he's just all the better for it. So it's a smart purchase on his part. Proud of him for doing right with his bread.
Yeah, at this point, I don't know what he's doing. Like he talked about maybe not going to college at one point, but now he seems to talk about going to college. So I assume he's going to college. I don't know if he's still planning on doing photography. Like I don't think that's the plan necessarily anymore. Because he said something about like realizing that it would be a terrible career choice. But who knows? Maybe he, something will spark him and he'll figure out his path.
I guess it depends on what you do with it. I mean, it can be profitable. Has he thought about being a war correspondent?
What's the pitcher who blew up? What's the pitcher who threw the pitch and made a seagull explode?
Randy Johnson.
I talked about that the other day. That's so funny that you mentioned that.
Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr. both are now sports photographers. It's what they have decided to do with their life. Ken Griffey, I think they both do NFL photography at that. So
Oh,
it's like
I didn't know that.
it's a dope job, and it'd be, I don't know, if he
It's
could
a dope job
figure it
for
out and
two
get to it,
guys
'cause he
that were
always
already
likes to be-
famous and multimillionaires.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, he goes to if he finds a good communication school, takes up sports communications, because that's basically the path we're walking toward. You know what I'm saying? He'll be swell. If that is indeed what he still wants to do.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So
like,
we're hopeful that is
like most of what he's talked about the last couple months was just getting a car. So at this point, I don't know what his goals are. You know, I'm sure at some point if he wants to talk about it, he'll bring it up. You know, the boy has no issues with talking. He's very, very forward with words. So I know he just like literally started his senior year the other day. So I'm sure over the next year he'll figure out or have an idea of what he maybe wants to attempt. And then inevitably quit and then restart something else like all the rest of us have.
Facts. Agave and Rye have multiple locations throughout. Basically, just like imagine the strip of land that is the top of Ohio down to the bottom of Tennessee, straight through Kentucky. There's Troy, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Perrysburg, Albany, New York. Okay, so we're leaning that way some. Louisville, Liberty Township, Ohio, Lexington, Kentucky. 2 in Lexington, Kentucky, in fact. Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay, so we're leaning that way now. All the way down to Alabama. There's one in Huntsville. Covington, Kentucky, Ohio, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Ohio. So it's like it's popping. That's a brand that seems to be on the rise.
They try to keep it fresh
and bourbon
by like updating the menu all the time. And like when I went the first time a couple weeks ago, I asked the waitress. I know it's a stupid thing. Like they don't know and they don't care. It's just a dumb joke. But I noticed on the menu they were using the silhouette of Notorious B.I.G. with the crown on his head, and I was like, "Hey, do you think that the Notorious B.I.G.'s estate signed off on you guys using his likeness on your menus?" And she's like, "Oh, no, you'll probably got enough to change that soon or get sued or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm maybe writing a letter."
Well, don't piss off Diddy.
Yeah. Then he'll stop inviting me to the parties.
Have you tried any of their? Have you tried any of their dessert tacos? I'm looking at their Suga SUGA tacos on their menu here.
No, when I went the first time, my buddy ordered the mac and cheese beignets, which were really good. I had gotten the birria tacos.
Birria.
Yeah, I got in the birria tacos, and then like
that's how you pronounce
they have like their menu.
I said that's how
he said that's how you pronounce it.
Oh,
and I'm so disappointed in his Latin roots.
Yeah, I gotten so that like their menu's broken up into like street tacos, and they have like they're like they sell like single tacos, and they each have their own fancy name. Like they had one that was like called the Grogu from Mandalorian. They had like the Karen, and each one's like got its own theme. So like I had gotten the first time one that was like a chicken tender with mac and cheese, and then I had gotten their one that was like flank steak with like grilled onions and street corn and all that kind of shit. Then this last time I got the birria tacos again because I thought they were really, really good. And then I got like it was some chicken tender one with it had like fried onion straws and like some sort of like kung pao sauce or something. And then I had gotten it was like their normal street taco, but it was in like a quesadilla type shell where like how Taco Bell will do like the cheese on the outside of the taco shell and then wrap it in a burrito shell or something. It was kind of like that. I forget what they called it, but it was like the name. Oh, right there. Hold on, go up a little bit. I think that was it. Scroll up. Right there. The sugar daddy of the whatever. I think
Chef's
no,
Kiss?
the one in the big box right there. Sugar
chef's kiss.
Daddy of the Plain Jane.
The sugar daddy.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Melted egg, white cheddar, grilled flour tortillas, consomme, dipped corn tortillas, seasoned ground beef, queso, lettuce, sour cream, salsa, white cheddar, topped with guac. Substitute proteins: chicken, carnitas, pork, carne asada, and birria. So the birria joints, you know what I'm saying? You basically dipping the taco in a lovely little consomme, get down with the get down, and
sounds sexy.
It seems to be the because birria has as far as I know, birria is normally lamb, and of course, we got to make it for the American palate, which of course has to be chicken, pork, all the regular things that you're getting used to. So, but look at this, man! I got them some elote popping, elote poppy jocho, which is an all beef hot dog. It's basically a corn dog, but I'm like, fuck with that. So these are all their little corn dogs. Mexican street dogs is what they refer to them as.
Ocho.
So that's kind of dope.
So
say it again.
Ocho.
Ocho, because that's a J. You are, yeah.
Yeah, I redeemed myself.
You can't say birria. You Ocho. There's that Return of the Mac, the smash burger, pepper jack, and white cheddar shredded lettuce. That's a smash taco, which is a flour stuffed with cheese, grilled smash style, and filled with deliciousness.
Ooh, spicy ragoon.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Chorizo, shrimp, mozz, cream cheese. God, they quit putting swine and everything, unless they got some chicken chorizos with turkey chorizos, which they do make. So there are some options there.
Did I tell you my oldest daughter, is trying to avoid the swine? I told her.
You did. You told me that when she first gave it up.
Yeah.
Box, these are their sugar, as you can see, sugar tacos. They got a bananas Foster, cherries Jubilee, and or apple crumble pie.
You don't fuck with banana.
And at all. It's banana skins in my trash right now, and every time I throw something away, my stomach gets a little nauseous, and I'm very upset with my partner for throwing them damn things in that damn garbage. But yeah, fuck with that. Of course, I'm proud of you, brother. I love hearing tales of this young man becoming, the man he is meant to be, and
yeah, I've been talking about him a lot lately because he keeps coming over here.
He loves his brother.
Yeah, exactly. And you're dependable in a dependable part of his life. And I think a good example of what, you know what I'm saying? He's like, okay, my big brother can do this shit. I can probably get down with the get down. So I fuck with it, man. So I'm glad he is continuing to grow and still being safe and so forth and so on. And also I'm glad you got to eat some good tacos. I was going to talk to you about sinus infection. It used to be right around this time of year, like every August. So it's got to be just something in the whisper of the wind or whatever. I would get severe ass sinus infections. And this one time, bro, the doctor had to really go up my snoot with like a gauze, basically to wipe out my sinuses. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had experience so fucking in my life because basically you can feel it back behind your eye.
Oh God!
And it was like it's because it's oddly enough, it's such a deep infection that it's hard for the body to fight it off. So I'm taking all these hard ass antibiotics, but also like I said, you got to get up in there and wipe it down.
Yeah, like even like right now, like my cheeks feel like swollen, like through here, and like I was having like
I can see them. They are literally swollen.
Yeah, and so
pressure into the head.
And it's like I had like pressure all over my face. Like at one point on Friday, my whole face felt swollen. It's just been a fucked up week because of that shit. It like I've taken more ibuprofen this week than I care to. Thankfully, I'm good. Like I said, I'm coming down off of it, and I'm just kind of dealing. But like, it came out of fucking nowhere. Like I had like a little bit of like soreness from like that volunteering that I did last week, and then like the next morning I woke up and like I was okay. I was working, and a couple hours into work, all of a sudden I just started getting a headache, and I didn't feel good. So I went upstairs. I took an earlier lunch. I took some Excedrin. I went to sleep longer than I should have. I came back down. I worked for a couple hours, and then around 4, it was like I fucking crashed, and I was having a hard time sitting over here at the computer, and I laid on the couch down here for like almost 4 hours just because I couldn't get up.
It's terrible. I wonder, like, should you ice it down or should you put like a warm compress on it? Like, which one would feel better? Yeah, I feel like it would melt it.
Well, they say like the cold is supposed to help with the inflammation. But But like I think like there's both get recommended. I think it just depends on which one makes you feel better.
Find some comfort in one way or the other. Well, thank you for sharing your tale, good sir, man. Man, I don't know what the hell. What was your segment title?
Tatum was a big fan of Gabbing with Gabe.
Then there it is. I'm saying I had to do the same for Nick Jew recently. We had basically come up with one for her, which was Knickknacks with Nick Jew, and of course Gabbing with Gabe. It's my homeboy Gabe. As you will tell a tale, whatever you were so inclined to, sir.
It was in this very room that I told the tale of accidentally going to Canada, and guess what? I did that shit again. This time I did not have my wallet. It's gonna get cut from the show, but during this very episode we're recording, my kids found my long lost wallet. I'm so happy, but it would have been nice to have that wallet.
How long have you been without said wallet?
Let's see, at least 2 stops. So
what?
Yeah, I've been without it for it's got to be at least a month.
How do you raw dog life without a wallet, my guy? Did you have to cancel cards and stuff, or you were just like, it'll show up?
I didn't see any unauthorized purchases, and I'm like, it's got to show up, right? No one stole my wallet, and I've been using my wife's card because it's all our same money. So,
yeah.
And she lost one of our bank cards, so she happened to have my card in her wallet, so that worked out. So that's okay. But they don't seem to care that I'm using my wife's card for everything. I could have been stole it from her for all they know. I'm not wearing a wedding ring because I got too fat. So but they're buying the story about me using my wife's card. I'm obviously not my wife's name. She's got a very feminine name.
I find it hilarious that you bother even telling people that it's my wife's card. No one checks that shit, bro. Just swipe that bitch and keep it moving.
Yeah, that's true. It's the
you feel an inherent guilt unnecessarily.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna pin that on Catholicism.
Yes, my Catholic upbringing. But is this very room I told the story of the first time I accidentally ended up in Canada, and I accidentally ended up in Canada again, taking a wrong turn, trying to turn around.
How did they let you back in without even a wallet? Did you have your passport?
No. My wife had to text pictures of the passports to us of me and the 3 kids I had with me that were freaking out. This time I didn't take my oldest daughter, who was panicked the first time, and I thought was going to get me arrested because she thought she was panicked.
Yeah, shit. Well, hey. I am astounded that you can do this more than once in life, and that they would be like, it's all right, it happens. But I guess it did. So
I had to be honest, because if they had me in the system, I said, yeah, this is the second time I've accidentally showed up, and they're like, how do you do this? How do you accidentally go to a country?
Well, often, you know what the answer is. It's just Google Maps. It's always going to tell you the fastest way or the quickest way to get to places, but it will not say. It won't say, at least on the app. If you look at it on a computer screen, whatever, but not in the app, it won't say this includes international border or whatever shit like that. There, and so it's it's reasonable. It's not clearly it could happen more than once. So I mean, it must. You're not the first person, or it won't be the last.
The border guy gave me a really hard time this time. He's like, Canadian guy.
Fucking assholes, all of them.
Did you get a hard time about guns?
Yes. Every single time. Like I said, me and Box have had one good Canadian border crossing experience, and that was when we went into Windsor recently. That lady seemed pretty sweet.
She was pretty hot.
I think she might have been sweet on Box. Box could, I'm not saying this as a joke, if he were so inclined, he could easily pull some Canadian tail, because he seems to always catch a vibe from the Canadian ladies, and so I bet you I feel as if were he so inclined, he could probably make some Canadian action happen.
Instead of give me that honey love, give me that maple syrup love. Give me that maple syrup
I would
I feel
more
like
maple.
I
love.
I don't think you need
feel
to add the syrup.
it feels like that'd be a bitch to get out of your body hair.
Nah, man, hot water works miracles, and maple syrup thinner than you're giving it credit for. It's not like corn syrup.
Ah,
No, but
you
it
speaking
would
from
get
experience?
everywhere.
Yes, I buy maple syrup every time we go up there, and I use
Oh,
it on my various pancakes and waffles, and therefore I know it is thinner than
okay.
Mrs. Butterworth. Fucking pervert.
But the guy told me, why does my face look like it's like you don't have a gun, but why does your face tell me otherwise? Like, do I have a gun face? What the fuck does that mean, man?
Did they toss your car?
No, they didn't.
See? Whereas me and Dad have had our car tossed before going across the border.
Well, this Saturday we are purposely going to Vancouver. So going to Canada on purpose. Got the passports in the car, all ready to go, and now I have my wallet again. Thank the maker.
And find out why your children basically put your wallet in somebody's book bag. There's no way that just happened.
I don't know. Maybe I did it. I don't know. I was just without a wallet for the longest time, and I was sad because it's a very special Christmas wallet.
I bet you that is what occurred because I know what it is when it's moving day. It probably sometimes gets like, okay, we got to just get on this, on the path. And you might have just been like, let me just stick it in here so it don't fall somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
bloody likely, actually, that you tucked it in there. I can't believe you got lost in Canada again. Yes, I can. Of course I can. So you said you went up to Vancouver. There is a game shop up there. Can't think of the name of it.
Well, I already booked a hop on, hop off tour, so it's got to be on that route. And I'm getting some Kit Kats. I'm getting some Canadian Kit Kats. I don't know if they're the same on this side of Canada as they are on your side of Canada, but hopefully.
Pink Gorilla Games. I'm trying to see. Because it might be where you are. I guess it's more Seattle leaning. This one shop called Pink Gorilla does like I said, they have one in Seattle. They got 2 in Seattle. They have 3 in Seattle. There are, but in various situations. But if you find yourself in a shopping situation and you see a store kind of like the Exchange, which is basically just video games, you go take a peek for your mans. I got some dreams.
All right, we'll do that.
Some goals, if you will. So back to the Pacific Northwest. I like that y'all kind of made your way. I don't know. You actually did a loop. You had to all of a sudden, you had to pull off the road and come back this way when your grand got sick. So it just basically throws everything through a wrench and everything. But now you kind of have reset, kind of restarted everything. You're back up there in the Pacific Northwest, making your way around, hopefully avoiding Idaho and Montana because very, very racist states. So.
We don't have Idaho on our sticker chart, though, so we might have to go there just to get the sticker.
Probably maybe just probably just go for Boise. That way, you're in an urban area or near an urban area. I guess urban for that side of the country is probably very much not urban. Probably like it's probably like Parma. Boise don't seem like they got some tall buildings popping off. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see what
Potato land.
Boise, Idaho. Skyline. I want to see what's popping in the Boise, Idaho.
All right, share with us. We'll describe it for the listener.
I'm telling you already, there's taller buildings in Parma. This is an iStock photo of the Boise, Idaho skyline. Where's my damn share button? Give me a second. Share.
Yeah. It's got a city hall.
Well, that's probably the capital. I think Boise might be the capital of Idaho.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But I remember hearing a story about how during the NCAA women's tournament, some of the teams had to stay. Even though they were playing in Washington, they, for whatever reason, had made them stay in Idaho, and they got harass, like racist harassment by multiple people and so forth and so on.
What the fuck?
To the fact they finally just had to get in the bus and leave because it was bad. So I'm not joking when I'm not saying this is in like Idaho's so racist. No, that was this year this happened. You can look that story up and you'll see
in
that
2020 fucking 4.
Yeah. So those areas have been for years heavy with neo-Nazis and other white supremacist groups who, were out there. It's Oregon was a state that was built on, though they didn't want slavery, they also didn't want black people living there at all. And like Ron Funches will tell you, because Ron Funches used to live in Oregon for a bit, he'll tell you the stories of that. Like he tells like how fucked up Oregon is for that same kind of thing. So yeah, those states are weird over on that side of the country because it's like you think, Cali and Seattle, but it's like it's just basically it's LA and San Francisco and of course what's the Berkeley, you know what I'm saying? Those liberal enclaves, but it's a lot of bullshit out there too. So, but it's also how just in general it's fascinating to me how I just read somewhere recently there was like it's more people in the LA general area than there are in like then they had this map basically show the rest of this country and it's like it's so much of the actual country lives in the LA area that I find it just utterly fascinating. But I like how have travels been in general like this is we're in year 3 like with year 4
so 2021 this is year 3 going into year 4.
Yeah
I still like it. It's been rough though, and some of the logistical things that we thought would come up. Like, well, what are we going to do about doctors? It's time for checkups and the such. And our insurance is such that I don't have the nice insurance I had when I was working my previous job. I have insurance for people who travel full time, and they want us to be back in Ohio. I'm like, that's a long way to travel to get some doctor's appointments.
Yeah. So I'm not saying it's time to wrap it up, but in your mind, you're like,
I think there's more behind us than in front of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that having been said, any place left that you're like, we got to get here before we wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Or have you actually had think you've had a fill and like anything else is just golden?
Well, it's states we've been to, but it's parts we haven't and things we haven't done. Like, I really want to take my girls to the San Diego Zoo because they just love animals to death, and that's the zoo. That's the Cadillac of zoos, I guess. And I'm gonna get them there, and Big Bend for sky gazing because I love sky gazing. I love looking up at the stars and whatnot. And we haven't been to that part of Texas, and we haven't been to. I haven't been to Portland, and that's what we're going to take care of soon too.
Yeah. Why are you on that side of the business? Why not?
Yeah. Next stop is Oceana. We're going to see a rainforest out here in Oregon.
Okay.
And there's some, there's still some things, but like New York, I haven't been to. I haven't been to New York proper, and I haven't been to New York on these travels. But like, I don't know, I'm not taking an R&V to downtown Times Square.
What ends up happening with that is you probably end up parking it in Jersey. There's probably land or spots around Jersey, or just in New York, above or to the side of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go into the city. You'll be fine. That one actually, I think it would be very fun to do, as you if you lean it back this way at some point. Man, I like that. I like that you've gotten a lot of stuff knocked out though, and so forth. And so,
yes,
I too would like to get out west and just look at the stars out there. When it gets dark and there's no light pollution, and you can really just get a good look at our little part of the Milky Way, real clean, like. Seems like a great time to be had.
I don't regret doing this at all. There's been some trials and tribulations, and that would have come with home life, though. So, like, and I get to see the country. Some of the places we're thinking of ended up, though, like Michigan. And I talked about you with this, and you made a really good point. You like it'd be weird to end back up in the Midwest after traveling the whole country. But like, yeah, but like ending up back in the Midwest, like Michigan and the such, is still seeing the country, ending up in Michigan. So like, okay, it's a nice state, and I try not to let my Ohio State fandom hold it against the state if I wanted to live there. I mean,
of course, it's like the Great Lake. No, it's not. Oh, no, yeah, it is the Great Lake state, right? Yeah. So it's like you got all like Michigan, Erie. I don't know if Erie actually counts as a Michigan, but you got the Superior and Michigan, and I think you can get to Ontario and so forth. The Lake Ontario, I mean by that. And so it's like there's a lot to do in just Michigan, So I think it's just Superior, Michigan, and Huron actually. Oh yeah, and I guess if I'm looking at it, Lake Erie does touch a little bit of the bottom part of the mitt, like right here. So yeah, just don't go live in Ann Arbor.
It's a college town, isn't it?
I mean, Ann Arbor is supposed to be pretty nice. Box didn't you go to Ann Arbor recently in that general area, Box? Recently is in about
a year ago.
He said it was a pretty nice looking town, so why not?
Yeah, I was impressed with.
I of course was born in Grand Rapids, and so we Vanessa and I visited that some point early-ish last year. We went to go see Fortune Feimster up there, one of her favorite comedians, and yeah, don't go live in Grand Rapids. In the city itself, maybe around.
All right, so you're not recommending Grand Rapids, but there's other nice parts of Michigan.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, it's again, it's a city that's working on some things. Also, you could definitely probably accidentally go to Canada there too if you hook it this way. So
yeah, I accidentally end up there too.
Now, how did Michigan even become an option? What occurred? That's interesting to me.
It's just we're looking at lots of land for affordable prices.
Okay. Yeah,
and it's nice. We don't like my wife hated. What about my wife hated about Cleveland was not the cold and the snow, is the gray.
Yeah.
But you tell me that Michigan's got plenty of gray, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's like above us. It's going to have its own style of gray.
No, I better warn her about that. What about? I do want to. Oh, one thing I wanted to do that I mentioned to my wife was, do I want to go to Lake Minnetonka and cleanse myself? I don't know. She says you're not going to get naked, are you?
You gotta. I feel like you gotta get in Lake Minnetonka with the balls out, bro.
I don't look like what's her name?
Aphrodite? No.
I don't look like Aphrodite. I don't think we want to see that.
Lake, sir, you're not doing it to show it to people. It's for you to have experienced this. Lake Minnetonka. I'm looking at it now. Lake Minnetonka Regional Park. Which one is the actual Lake Minnetonka? Is it this bit of water here? Yeah, it's a pretty substantial lake too. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to scroll back. So that'd be outside of Minneapolis, where our hopefully future vice president. I think St. Paul's actually the capital, isn't it? Yeah. So the twin cities there. Okay.
Well, you must cleanse yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
I feel like you must. One time for the one time. You don't gotta be naked, but I mean, if you can get naked, why not get naked? Yeah, they have an island out there, like just like kind of like Putin Bay. So it's like, oh no, that's actually one lake over, different lake, but there's a Minnetonka beach, so you can definitely go out on the, you know what I'm saying, and hit it up. Man, I'm looking at this map. I'm gonna share my screen. Why the fuck I'm not?
We'll describe it for the listeners.
I know that, but I want you to see, because I'm over here just talking about it and you're not seeing it. So it's like, so
there's Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah. And see, right here is Minnetonka Beach.
Minnetonka Beach.
And there's the island I was talking about, but that seems to be in the lower lake, unless all of this is Lake Minnetonka.
Then they got bars like Put in Bay. I got a little wild last time I went to Put in Bay.
It's got to be, right? That's got to be.
I was wifeless and kidless. They left me behind, and I'm like, all right, well, I have no responsibilities right now. Why don't I take advantage?
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's a lot of places to get your lake on at, man. So why not? Plus, I'm like, look at that. It's right off. It's right off 7. You know what I'm saying? You can just of course becomes 494, which I'm saying, look at that. That's just on the path at that point, guy.
Yeah, I might have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the one of the few states
we have not been to Minnesota yet.
One of the few states in the union that has free school lunch for their kids, thanks to Governor Tim Walz, word up, who passed that law. And when I hear people talking about, well, what's the point of giving kids free lunch? So that they're fed, you fuckers. Jesus, I swear, I don't know what. Like I said, last week I was celebrating this country, and then I've been seeing this week people say shit like that. Like, what's the point of feeding children? Is this really a question you're asking?
Yeah, I'm going to try to turn any positive into a negative. Hey, there's Vancouver. We're looking at Vancouver right now. This is where I'm going to end up on a hop on, hop off tour of the city. Right. I got it booked. Should be fun. And then on the way out, we're going to grab some Canadian Kit Kats.
Where are you at right now? I like that. Like I'm saying, because you're not going to be there. So by the time they hear this, you won't be there.
There's Blaine. That's where we're at.
Where am I looking? You see
go here, up. Here's my Ferndale. Mouth. You're close to it.
Ferndale, Blaine. You're right at the
Blaine. There.
Lord, man, I'm going to scroll in on this. This is crazy. This is me looking at it.
I'm right at the border. So you can see why it seems less silly now that I ended up accidentally there. It's not silly.
It's the twice that makes it silly.
Well, I had to confess to the twice to the border guard because I thought they might oh, so you've done this before. So I must be upfront about it. And I lost my wallet. So it was all bad. Yeah. And my wife sent my oldest son's passport last. So there was a big gap between all our passports getting to us and his. And I said, maybe you shouldn't be joking in this situation. These kids should not appreciate it. I said, you're going to have to stay behind, son. We can't get your passport picture.
Bruh, I'm telling you right now. I've only had 2 good crossing experiences going into Canada. Coming back in America, they're always just the sweetest of peach. They always love us. They always show us love and almost always say welcome back. But going into Canada, it's like they hired they hired Canadian assholes. If you want to know, people always talk about how nice Canada is. Well, all the assholes work at the border.
My experience with Canadians was heel Chris Jericho and WCW, so I didn't know they were not always polite.
So, have you eaten at this Burger King?
That's the Burger King that I accidentally passed. That I accidentally passed on the way to Canada. So, okay, listeners, you can't see this, but he has pinpointed the corner, the intersection I'm on. I'm on H Street here, and I'm like, oh, I passed up this coffee shop I'm trying to go to. Let me turn around by hanging a right here, and once you hang the right, you're done. You're in Canada because there's between H Street. Look it up. If you want a visual aid, folks, you might want to look it up.
There is no exit.
Yeah, once you turn right there, you're on your way to Canada, and the only place to turn around is in Canada.
That is crazy. That should not be an option. There has to.
There should be a street here, right?
Not just that. There should definitely be an off ramp here on either side, so you don't accidentally end up in a country you ain't trying to get to.
With that's freaking crazy. Out kids.
Yeah. Well, no, because the 3 that you have would not be freaking out unless you started freaking out first. They don't have a natural freak out response.
I joke with my kid. I try to lighten up the situation. I'm like, okay, kids, we don't have passports, and Daddy does not have his wallet. This is going to be tough.
Yeah,
but hopefully they'll let us back in.
Tell them that. Oh my God, you probably freaked them. You did freak them. Don't do that. You can't do that. You gotta be like, all right, let me figure this out. And so as you see that right there, I'm immediately well now you know, so you didn't know before, but I was like, I'm immediately talking to the phone, be like, babe, send me pictures of the passports. That way, I got them on my phone, and now you got them on your phone. So now it's just a permanent part of the operation. So you're good.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like you didn't know that was the fact that's even an option, bruh. That's your almost looking white privilege right there. Because I don't think I'm getting away with that. I don't think if you had been summertime tan gave you was pulling that move off, which is why
it's
we
been
probably
very
thought you
cloudy
had a
lately.
gun.
So that's it's been very cloudy lately. So that's my saving grace. I haven't getting the sun I've been needing.
Have we been to this Blaine food? No, that's the food bank. I don't want you going to the food bank. I just thought that was a grocery store.
No.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what's popping in the general Blaine area. There's a primary school, a Rite Aid.
I've been to that IGA today. In fact, I went there.
See the IGA. Where's the IGA at?
Go to the right.
Right. I see a TA Express.
A little more right to that. There's the IGA. I almost.
There we go. Okay. Right on.
I almost bought hard ciders there, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to drink to be funny. I'm funny.
Oh man, little mailbox international action.
I got my wife to finally laugh at something today. Here's a good story. So we're going to Canada this weekend. The kids know that, and I'm like tell my wife it was just me, my wife, and my oldest, and like the oldest gets to know more things than the other kids. And I said, "Hey, do you think we should tell her what we're doing this weekend? Because the hop on, hop off is supposed to be a surprise."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, daughter of mine, we booked a Canadian clown tour." Where we have a Canadian clown bus driver and a clown tour guide who's going to show us around the city of Canada, and they're all going to be, the whole staff is going to be clowns.
Your kid
and my wife's laughing her ass off.
Your kid have a clown?
My kids hate clowns.
I don't,
yes.
I don't fuck with clowns, but I don't hate clowns.
I didn't know this until today. My oldest son hates the fuck out of clowns. He was freaking out at Bozo the clown, and a Bozo is
Bozo one of them clowns that I can see bothering people. His clown look.
Well, he's not Pennywise. Pennywise
is a chiller vibe than Bozo.
Really?
Yeah. In my opinion.
My 3 out of my 4 kids do not like clowns.
Well, yeah. There was once one of them don't.
And my wife hates clowns.
They pass it on, you know. Your wife don't fuck with robots either. We can't trust her.
Robot clowns will really fuck her up.
There's a show on Apple TV called Sunny, which I've watched a few episodes of. It's a really good, interesting show, but also it's specifically straight up and down about robots. She could not. She could never.
My wife would rather I cheat on her with a human than cheat on her with a clown.
A robot.
A robot. I don't find clowns sexy. There's your quote of the episode.
The internet. I'm just saying.
But if I cheated on her with a robot, we're done. There's no forgiveness. We can work through a human cheating, but robot cheating, it's over with.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
But a long time no SKiM, people. This is what you get when you have me back.
Bro, I have long been a fan of looking at maps and atlases and stuff like that. So just looking at this and kind of having an idea where you are and so forth does a lot for my brain and my and just that social studies kid that's still a part of me after all these years. So that's very cool to see where you are and be like, oh, within relation to this, that, and a third. And so very dope. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're still on the though like I said, we might be on the thin side as the adventure not necessarily begins to wrap up, but we're leaning more toward the wrap of it than the than the start of it. It is also the good to hear your voice and see your face and so forth. So very good.
Thank
I'm
you. I
glad.
have to come back if the Canada, my first time in a long time, legit adventure into Canada, purpose adventure into Canada is interesting. I have to come back and share it.
I do not want to frighten you. I'm not joking when I tell you this. You are definitely on the list, and they may not play. They may not play as nice with you. If you can find a different border crossing, I would tell you to go to a different border.
Okay.
Not joking. So if you could swing it toward, so you went across basically by the Burger King. I can see where that is. If you can go the other way, which is over here by the Peace Arch, is what I'm looking at. And it's just if you cut across, if you kept going down H and got on what appears to be the 5 and took that north, I'm telling you right now, do that. Remember to do that. You'll probably have a better experience than accidental border crossing spot.
Twice. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like I said, me and Box have crossed this border a few times now, and it's like, good Lord. They got to be cool, man. They got to just chill out, bro. It's like, what do you think is happening here? What it is they think we all have guns, and they're not wrong.
Oh, we're Americans.
The math supports that. There's enough guns for every American to be armed, like twice over in here. So I was like, they ain't wrong. But like, sir, I'm just here to enjoy some Canada and buy some chocolates that I can't legally get on the other side. Bro, you know how many times I done cross that border be like, I'm going grocery shopping, and they'd be like, what? I go, y'all got shit we don't have at home, and I'm about to go kick it up here and go grocery shopping. And they'd be like, okay. Leave them befuddled, but I'm just trying to be real because that's what I'm here for. I'm here for your flour and all your chocolates. Suck it up.
Sounds like a threat. I'm here for your chocolates.
I am
and your flowers.
Bro, trust me, man, we go home with, I wonder, like, comic amounts of chocolate, man. Like, amounts that look like, it should look suspicious. Like, sir, what are you doing with them?
Like you're redistributing them.
Well, you know, if I got Box with me, then I don't have to redistribute because he's with me. But if I don't, yes, I'm going to go take him some chocolate. So, situation.
Well, they might think you're selling them on the street.
You moving these Kinder eggs? Damn right I am. Dude, have your kids had Kinder eggs yet? Like the good kind?
Not the good kind, the crappy kind at Walmart.
Fuck yeah. Well, get you some Kinder eggs while you're on that side of the border of all various sizes that have toys in them. Make sure they know not to eat them shits. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason we stop the children here in America. But the great time to be had. They come with some of the best, honest to God, some of the best quality toys inside of them. It's strange how well built those toys, how well manufactured those toys are.
Some Kit Kats and some Kinder eggs. Got it.
That's what's up. All right. Well, that's a Gabe story. Gabe, thank you for sharing that with us. A little bit for me is that it was going to be it'll be in my entertainment section. We went to the movies the other day, and I'll tell you what about the movie, what we saw. But I went to the mall for the first time in a very long time, and the mall around here that has the theater in it has decided like they're going to lean heavy into otaku, Japanese, and so forth type things. They have these gachapon machines right there that you can get all these like Japanese machine toys out of, and then there's a whole Japanese market in there that is just full of all things amazing. Choco pies and there's Asian potato chips and so forth and so on. That place is jam packed with everything that we used to we would have to order in is right there on their shelves, including a very selection of Japanese or at least Asian. I don't know if it's just Japanese specific. Oreo, tons of Kit Kat, and so forth and so on. It's just so fucking dope. And I didn't find the prices to be too offensive. I got a bunch of Lucy Choco Pies and Japanese Choco Pie in general. Not gonna say Japanese chocolate overall. Choco Pies in general has the chocolate they use on their Choco Pie. Imagine, if you will, a whoopie pie. A moon pie, like cookie, marshmallow in the middle, coated in a thin layer of chocolate. Their chocolate is more. It's a darker chocolate. It's also more of a liqueur type chocolate. It's not. It's not a milk chocolate kind of taste to it. So it has a very specific kind of flavor profile. less sweet than you would think it would be, but sweet, you know what I'm saying, in a good way. And so I got a regular one, I got a coconut one, I got Nessa mango one, I got, oh, actually I took a picture, so I can actually may be able to tell you everything I got from there. Give me.
Did you see any young ladies stuck in an elevator?
I did not see the young stuck in an elevator or hanging on a train in a weird way. All right.
I forgot about the train stuff.
Yeah. I got a caramel one. I got a coconut one. I got a black sugar milk tea one, a mango one, and a regular choco pie. And I've had the regular one, which is pretty good. I like the tea one. It was actually kind of tasty. The mango one is necessary, so I hadn't had it. I tried the coconut one today, actually, and it was fine. Nothing to write home about. So I still have the caramel one left. Not super small, but probably about about yay big. You know, imagine a circle, if you will, around yay big. Not too. About the size of the top of a can. Now looking at it in relation to a can. I also tried a tropical iced tea, which was really, really tasty. Vanessa got royal milk tea in a can, which is 25% milk, and the rest is tea. And she let me take a sip, and I was like, it's a bit too floral for me. Whatever tea they're using to me had such weird floral notes. We also got Szechuan peppercorn chicken Doritos. We have not opened those yet. And I got a bag of. So what's funny is my man Joe, who I've talked about on the show before, posted pictures on his IG story recently about he went and bought creamy lobster and roasted cumin lamb skewer flavored Lay's. And when I walk in that store, I'm like,
that's a lot going on in that chip.
Those are the exact fucking chips my man Joel got. And he had said when we were talking, he was saying he wished he had bought 2 bags of the roasted cumin lamb flavor. So I bought 2 bags of the roasted cumin lamb flavored Lay's, and actually that doesn't look too bad. But so I got 2 bags of those. I have not tried them at all yet. They're in a bag upstairs. But I just thought that was so neat, and I find it interesting how much more anime culture is now around. Like, there's a store down the street from the house that is all Asian and anime and so forth type stuff. So that's like it's here in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like kind of because it used to be something that was only kind of in like the Seattle area, because they have a large influence in that area because Nintendo's there. So they have a lot of and like Nintendo used to own the Mariners, Seattle Mariners, and so forth. So like, again, it used to be kind of there, and of course on the in San Francisco, of course, has a large different Asian populaces of Filipino, Chinese, and of course Japanese, and so forth. And now here, right, just like I said, at the mall, a few minutes from home is I can literally get just about all these things that for a while there I could only order from international stores and or eBay or whatever. And I thought that was, I don't know, I think that's fascinating to me that has become such a part of America at this point. And
world's getting smaller
all the time and bit by bit. And so I dig it, man. So that was a strange or different thing that happened to me this week. So I'm glad I could share that tidbit with you. Let us, as we always do, head on over to Reddit and take a deep dive into the subreddit that is called Am I the Asshole? Now, I can tell you right now, this one is from the Great Value Am I the Asshole, AITAH. It is lengthy, and there are multiple updates, but I fuck with it, and I think you guys will fuck with it too. And that one is, am I the asshole for not respecting my girlfriend's boundaries about what I call my father? That's the long one. The short one is, am I the asshole for asking my husband to join us in my sister's birthday since he was in the same restaurant? So y'all want the long one first? You want the short one first?
Short one.
All right. Short one. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to join us in my sister's birthday since he was in the same restaurant? I, female 26, was invited to my sister's 18th birthday a few days ago at a restaurant. My husband didn't come because he said he had a meeting dinner with some clients. This made my family feel let down, especially my sister, who wanted him there, and it's also because her 18th birthday was a big deal to her, obviously. To my surprise, when I arrived, I noticed that my husband was having his meeting at the same place. His table was right in the corner, and he had about 4 men sitting with him. My parents and the guests saw him as well. I waved for him, and he saw me but ignored me. He obviously was as much as surprised as I was. That's how that's written, y'all. My parents asked why he didn't even come to the table to acknowledge them after the cake. Wait a minute. My parents asked why he didn't come to acknowledge them at the table. Why he did not come to the table to acknowledge them after the cake arrived. Okay, sure. I got up and walked up to his table. I stood there and said, "Excuse me." My husband was silent when I asked, after I introduced myself to the clients, if he'd take a few minutes to join me and the family in the candle blowing and say happy birthday. But he barely let out a phrase, and I said, "I don't think so.
This woman can't write for shit.
I'm busy right now." I insisted, saying just take a couple of minutes and that it means so much to my sister. He stared at me, then stared awkwardly back at his clients. They said nothing, and he got up after my parents were motioning for me to hurry up. He sat with us while my sister blew the candles out and cut the cake. My parents insisted he take a piece and join us in the selfie, but he got up and walked back to his table looking pissed. We haven't talked till we met later at home. He was upset and stared, scolding it. He was upset, and this is what this is written as, and stared, scolding me in front of my parents, saying I embarrassed him and made him look unprofessional and ruined his business meeting. I told him he overreacted since it only took a few minutes, and it was just my sister, and it was my sister's birthday, and my family wanted him to join us since he was literally in the same restaurant. He called me ignorant and accused me of tampering with his work, but I responded that ignoring mine and my family's presence was unacceptable. We argued, but he started stonewalling me and refusing to talk to me at all. FYI, I don't have an issue with him missing the event, but after seeing that he was already there, it became a different story. Also, it literally took 5 to 7 minutes. He didn't even eat or drink, just sat down and watched. Is this person an asshole?
The husband, yes. The wife, no.
I don't know what kind of clients.
You got me fucked up, Box. What the hell are you talking about? This nigga's at work. This is not him at a restaurant. He is at work.
I think he's an asshole. The fact that he wouldn't even wave at his wife when they were there, stonewalling her, acting like he don't know her.
He is at his job.
He's at a restaurant.
At this point, the restaurant is the office. This is not a situation where I'm like, hey, guys. No, I'm on my J.O. and I'm hustling with these cats who might not be cool with me playing pity pat over here.
At the very least, he could have done was wave hello. And then just be like, oh, that's my wife. That's bare minimum.
You don't know if that happened because we don't have that information.
She said they ignored him.
He said he didn't wave, but he might have said, oh, hey, that's my family over there, whatever. We don't know what happened because, of course, he is over there and she's over there. He might have said, yo, that's my family. Don't worry about it. They're not going to come bother us. Might have. I can't say it happened, but he might have is all I'm saying. No. This man is at work. I don't like... Sometimes Vanessa is like, can you come do something for me upstairs while I'm at work? And I'm like, I'm at work right now. So I know I'm in the house with you. I know we're at the house at the same time. But right now, I'm on my job. And my job requires me to do what I'm doing right now. Hell no, this man's not an asshole. You got me all the way fucked up that you would come over here and blow this man's spot up. You walked over there and blew. That's your wife walking into your office while you're at work. Coming and talking to you while you were in the meeting with whomever, clients, your boss, or something like that. No, that's wild disrespectful. I cannot believe you would think to the contrary. You loving so and so. Go on, sir.
I'm inclined to agree with Dan a bit because the way the dude handled that shit when he got home, calling her ignorant and shit.
No.
He didn't have to be. He could be in the right and be insulting and be an asshole.
So he might have been like, "Well, listen, let's go over right quick." Stared at me in front of my parents. So it said I embarrassed him and made him look unprofessional and ruined his business meeting. Then she has the audacity to tell you you're overreacting. You know how fucked up it is to tell somebody they overreacting when they are already in a state? Don't tell
That's
somebody
true.
that they
But, like,
overreacting. You try that with your wife. See what that'll earn you. It won't go well, I'll tell you that shit. So I'm already in my flow right here. And then you're gonna be like, you're overreacting.
baby, I know I fucked a robot, but you're overreacting here.
Oh my
Man,
God.
my stepmom showed me a video of a Japanese tech conference yesterday, or I'm sorry, on Tuesday, where they showed all the robots, and me and her could not tell if they were real or not. Like if they were just like
Ooh.
models pretending to be robots, or if they were actually robots. That's how hot and sexy the robot tech is getting.
Hot and sexy robots.
Baby, I thought it was a real human being.
Thank the maker. Reddit agrees with me and says this woman is an asshole. Let's dig into the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, this first comment. You're the asshole. My husband didn't come because he said he had a meeting with some clients. This made so just reiterate what she said. And so so then she responds to it. Congratulations to your sister, but work meetings trump sister-in-law's birthday. If you wanted him there, then you should have moved the date of the celebration. Right there, possible. My parents asked why he didn't come to the table to acknowledge him after the cake ride. Because he's working. Thanks. I asked after I introduced myself, and he said, in fact, this is the point. She asked, come over to the table and says, I don't think so. I'm busy right now. That's where it should have wrapped up right then and there. You asked, he answered, and you should have left it alone. But you embarrassed him in a professional setting. Also, he is allowed to have boundaries. No is a complete sentence. Man, this person is me. I am they. He was upset and stared, scolding me in front of my parents, saying I embarrassed him and made him look unprofessional and ruined his business meeting. And this person says, you absolutely did. He called me ignorant and accused me of tampering with his work. But I responded that ignoring mine and my family's presence was unacceptable. You are, and you did. You and your family's response and lack of support is what's unacceptable. You and your parents are adults. It is your job to manage your feelings. Your sister is 18, not 6. She should understand, although you typed all this out and still has to ask if you are an asshole. So, damn. How could you, what is this person's name? Hold on. Miserable Airport 66. My kind of motherfucker.
I just think he handled it poorly. Like, hey, baby, can we talk about this when your parents aren't around?
You know what? Like I said, he was heated, came at her, and then she just said his feelings didn't matter to his face, basically. You're overreacting. Let's see. You're the asshole. You have never had a professional job, have you? It was so important for him to be there. Why didn't you guys move the dinner celebration to another date? Upon seeing him at the restaurant, you should have acted like you didn't even know him, since this was a business meeting with clients. And to my response to that, saying she absolutely hasn't, and neither has her family. Can you imagine the horror? And then to my response to that, it should have been a comedy afterwards. What are the odds we would be in the same restaurant? Ha ha. But it turned into cringe horror. And should he face repercussions at work, finally morph into a tragedy? Because like I said, we don't know how this is going to go down, how this is going to be reflected. What if this didn't work out like it should have because his clients was like, what kind of bullshit is this? You got up and left our meeting to go kick it at a whole... Man, are you joking?
I did say this does hinge on the type of clients these are. Like, how uptight are these clients?
Yeah. Let's see. You're the asshole. He was working. You knew from the start he was working. So you could have told your parents and guessed he was working. Instead, you went over, interrupted an important dinner. It's fine to make your sister's birthday about her, but it's not okay to make your husband's meeting about her. It's my responsibility for that. You're the asshole. I've had such intense secondhand embarrassment for OP's husband. What she did was absolutely mortifying. You also need to work on your communication. How do neither of you clock that you'd be at the same place at the same time? Do you guys not talk? That's facts after facts after facts after facts. Although, like I said, he shouldn't have to be like, I'm having a meeting at this restaurant. That's not a part. I'm having a meeting at a restaurant was a full, complete sentence. Her all of a sudden like, we showed up at the same. That's crazy.
There's some talking, though, that needs to go on between these two. He like, so where are you taking your sister? Oh, what a coincidence. that kind of thing. Like this could have came out through a conversation between the two of them. So why aren't they talking to each other?
I feel like because he knew he wasn't going to attend, there's no point in asking where y'all going. I mean, he could have asked as in to be nice. Like, you should probably be like, oh, so where are you taking her to? Blah, 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 blah. That probably should have occurred, or could have occurred, rather. But I think once he was like, I ain't going to be there, he didn't care, and he kept it moving. So this one of the ones where I'm like, y'all got some work to do just in life on these communications. Okay.
I thought he handled it poorly. I don't think he should have insulted her and called her out in front of her parents. That's something I never do. Like,
you would never do that to your wife. She would hopefully never do that to you. And so in your mind, you're like, never. And like, I would never. But in this situation, her parents was wrong too. They all needed a talking to.
Yeah.
It's fucked up that he had to kind of go off like that, and calling somebody ignorant in front of their mama and daddy is kind of wild. But like I said, they was just as involved as she was, because they was like, why ain't he coming and hollering at us? Come on. Don't he love us? Get the fuck out of here.
I wouldn't say never either about my wife, because if I fuck up bad enough, maybe she would yell at me in front of the parents.
If it rose to this level,
let's go. Let's bring a complete circle back to the robot. That would be something that be a conversation that have in front of the parents.
I will copy and paste this and have you ask the missus her thoughts on this situation, and whether or not she thinks. Like I said, just read her the body and be like, okay, who wrong here and why. And just
we did talk about the other Reddit thing you guys sent us. I thought we were going to talk about on this show.
Oh my God, no, that shit bothered me on a level that I sent that to multiple people. When it's all said and done, and basically about a dozen people I sent that to, and everybody seemed to come to the terms that I'm not going to go dig too deep in this. People, it was kind of jacked up. Everybody seems to come to terms that dude is foul, and we gave a little sprinkle of foul to the lady. So what'd your wife say about it? Just a little bit. Don't get too deep in it.
There was an audible gasp, and there was like that's kind of fucked up. I had to ask myself, is this dude committing a crime? That's the kind of thing that gives you listeners a context. That's the kind of thing that how bad it was. Like, is this dude committing a crime? Is he revenging the nerds and this lady?
Yeah, I think I believe it slightly doesn't rise to the level of criminality, but it is uncool, hands down. So
you folks will never know what we're talking about, but
some of y'all who listen to my show and are my friends who I sent this question to do know what I'm talking about. All right, here's this long one. This is a wild one, y'all. This is a wild one. Am I the asshole for not respecting my girlfriend's boundaries about what I call my father? Just taking that information for what I've given you. Who's the asshole here?
Both of them.
I'm going to say the boundary not respecter, because that's usually problematic when you don't when you cross boundaries.
Let's work it out. Throw away, because my girlfriend knows I'm on this website. I-23 female. Oh, what I didn't know was
it's a lady.
It was a lady. I-23 female, am from the deep south of the United States. My girlfriend, 22 female, is from New England. We met in college when we were both freshmen and have been dating for 3 years. Because of all of my family is from the South as well, I was hesitant to introduce my girlfriend to them. So they just recently met her about 6 months ago. I'm very lucky in that my family has been supportive thus far. My girlfriend likes my family as well and has fit in well. However, there has been a problem since the beginning that has been worse than normal lately. The problem is the fact I call my father sir. Not exactly exclusively, I still do call him dad, but most of the time I'm addressing him as sir. For some reason, this makes my girlfriend uncomfortable. The first time she brought it up after the first time she met my parents, mostly commenting on how she thought it was a little silly. I laughed at her and explained it was just a cultural thing and thought that that would be the end of it. It, however, was not the end of it. She brought it up nearly every time we saw my parents, and it quickly turned from joking to explaining how it makes her uncomfortable, and I shouldn't feel like I have to call my dad that. I explained on multiple occasions that I didn't feel like I strictly had to call him sir, and that it wasn't something that I was punished for not doing as a child or anything. It was just how things were. I called everyone I interact with sir or ma'am, from my 4-year-old cousin to any adult I speak with. She just didn't seem to get it. I understand that it isn't really a thing where she's from, but that's just how things are done down here. Things came to a bit of a head a few days ago when we had dinner at my parents', and as usual, calling my father sir, no different than any other time I was with him. I noticed my girlfriend was a little quiet at dinner, but I didn't think much of it since sometimes she is on the quieter side. However, when we got in the car afterwards, she started talking about how I called my dad sir again. She explained that it made her uncomfortable because that is a title for someone who has authority over you. She used the example as in the bedroom, and I shouldn't believe my father has any sort of control over me. I explained that I respected my father as he raised me to be the person I am today. The same with my mom, and once again tried to say that it was little more than a cultural difference between the two of us. I'm not sure exactly what set her off, but she went off about how it made me sound like sound like me and my father had a weird relationship and that it sounded like a fetish. I'll admit I got angry when she said that, but I did my best to not overreact. I asked her if she felt the same way about me calling my mother ma'am. She said no. In the end, she asked that I never call my dad sir around her or not, and that if I did, I was disrespecting her boundaries. I said plain and simple that I was not going to stop calling him sir, and she got silent and is not speaking to me. I honestly don't see how I might be the asshole here, but I want to hear from other people, and if I'm truly in the wrong, I will do my very best to fix it and do better.
I take it back.
I was raised in the South. I say yes, ma'am, to this day. Sir, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. These are the ways I speak to adults or my elders. That's not a boundary you can set. You might be uncomfortable about it. I don't know why you sexualize my father. That's where the grossness begins.
That's weird.
Yeah. Mox, as you consider this,
the girlfriend. All right, the one not telling the story sounds like a fucking crazy person. I don't get the. Oh, you're sexual. Like this just seems like she's doing too much. I don't get like her point of view at all.
One comment, and then we'll jump to the updates. Not the asshole. Please tell me this is a joke. If it's not, then you've done nothing wrong. Your girlfriend, on the other hand, is the asshole here. First, it worries me how comfortable she is policing the way you interact with others. Secondly, it shows a lack of open-mindedness on her part, how she cannot conceive that people do things differently from her. Lastly, do not let her gaslight you with her boundaries comment. Having boundaries should not be a way to make your partner do everything you want.
That's not a boundary.
If I was in your place, I'd be the one pissed off due to the nasty things she insinuated about me and my family. However, I'd like to add that her reaction is pretty odd. So maybe some trauma-related things are here on her part. Certainly so. It does seem like there might be some traumatic situations going on that we are not fully aware of. So let's go for it. This is a big old amateur asshole. Update. This is an update.
Okay. I'm going to listen to this update before I comment.
Update. Am I the asshole for not respecting my girlfriend's boundaries about what I call my father? Trigger warning. Child sex abuse mentioned.
Oh.
No, just mentioned. We don't want to. Let's see. It's been several days since I made my original post, and I thought I would write out this update to clarify some things and explain some things that have happened since. First, some things to clarify. I do not call my dad sir, but pretty much every male in my I not only call my dad sir, but pretty much every male in my life, from young children I work with to homeless people on the streets. The same goes with calling females ma'am. It's just my father, my girlfriend has a problem with me calling sir. No other males. Also, from everyone suggesting or outright asking, the title sir has no place in our bedroom life. We use titles. That is not one of them. Anyway, I've tried several times now over the past to speak with my girlfriend about what went down, but she refused to talk for the most part, and I wasn't going to push her. It wasn't until tonight that I finally got a chance to sit down and have a real conversation with her. I I read every single comment in my original post got and asked her about several things. Someone suggested I ask if she had any example of my father trying to control me in any way. This got her worked up, and she walked away from the conversation for a little while, claiming I was trying to attack her. I gave her time to calm down and was honestly surprised when she returned to the conversation. She explained to me that it wasn't that she had seen specific things with my father trying to control me, but rather an undertone that I was in his control. I asked her what she meant, but she didn't really have any other explanation beyond that. I honestly don't know what the undertone she was talking about. I respect my father and his knowledge and experience beyond mine, but I am a grown adult. I live and think independently, and I am perfectly capable of making my own decisions. I've occasionally asked for my father's advice on things since we've been together. Life advice, not relationship, and that may be what she's talking about, but I'm not sure. Another thing people brought up was the possibility of her having trauma around the title. Jesus Christ. I experienced regular sexual abuse as a child, and she knows that. So we've had conversations around the topic, but this was the first time I asked her outright if she had been through anything like that, and that if that was the case, I would not hesitate to call my father something else to avoid triggering her. She said no, that she hadn't been through anything like that, and I obviously believe her. That isn't something she would be dishonest about. However, my offering to stop saying it if it was triggering her did the opposite of what I had hoped. She blew up at me, screaming that if I could stop because she was triggered, then why couldn't I stop because she didn't like it? I tried to stay calm and explain that being weirded out by something is nothing close to having traumatic thoughts triggered. But she kept going. In her yelling, she mentioned her boundary again, and that I was being toxic. At this point, I could feel myself getting angry and said we could finish this conversation another time. She stormed out, and I haven't spoken to her at all for the past several hours. Now, I've just been contemplating. I really don't want to give in and change how I address other people. I think like she is being unreasonable, but maybe I'm the one being unreasonable. I'm just unsure how to proceed here. The thought of possibly ending the relationship has come up, but that seems like me making a bigger deal out of this than it is. I don't know. I'd be thankful for any advice on what to do.
This feels like a fundamental difference between the two of them. That where's the compromise? Like, she wants you to change how you were raised because it makes her uncomfortable, but you don't see a problem being who you are. So, like, how do you continue from here? It's not like,
Exactly.
like, oh, I like fucking shredded pork, or oh, I like pulled pork sandwiches, but oh no, it's like, she literally wants you to be someone you're not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One comment from this update, then we'll do the last update. If you were the female and she was the dude, Reddit would be screaming, "Run, he's dangerous and controlling. Too much toxic manipulation act." As a female, I'm really surprised you're putting up with her trying to tell you how to treat others when you're nothing but respectful. I mean, come on. She can't even respect you, let alone your boundaries, but she's demanding you respect hers, even if she's not around to see or hear it. This is toxic manipulation and narcissistic drama mongering at its finest. So what exactly does she have going for her besides the red flags? What's so intriguing about her that you have yet to cut any ties that bind you to her? She's not your wife, so why are you subjecting yourself to her BS still? You're raised right to the point that you treat strangers well, but you're not treating yourself well by allowing this to continue. Okay, I see.
Interesting comment.
All right, last one. This is the update 2. If there's another update after this, I have not found it. This is all I got. Yeah, I'm an asshole for not respecting my girlfriend's boundaries, but what about what I call my father? I plan for this to be my last update about this unless something crazy happens or I otherwise feel like I need to. I've read all your comments over and over again, and I want to thank so many of you for explaining how boundaries are supposed to work so clearly, or to those who presented reasons why my girlfriend might be uncomfortable. Everything has been helpful. Honestly, after posting my last update and getting comments about how my girlfriend is crazy and a walking red flag, I got a little defensive. Not wanting to think about her but more recent events have really opened my eyes. Not wanting to think that about her, forgive me. My girlfriend returned to our home the morning after I posted the first update. I didn't want to talk. But I didn't mind because it gave me more time to think. Eventually, I told her we need to sit down and have a real conversation. No yelling, no accusations. And if she did either of those things, I would be pausing the conversation. She wasn't happy, but she agreed to it. I asked her again about trauma, more specifically about her relationship with her father. I've interacted with her father many times and haven't noticed anything, but not all things are easily noticeable. So I asked anyway. She said that I was projected my own issues with my father, which I don't have, onto her, and I can't comprehend a appropriate and respectful relationship between father and daughter. I did my best for me not to react to this and moved on. We talked in circles for a long time about everything that had happened, and she eventually yelled out that she didn't feel respected in our relationship, that her telling me the first time that me calling her my father sir made her uncomfortable, that should have been the end of it. That I shouldn't be prioritizing something as stupid as what I call my father over her. And that if I didn't stop, she would be breaking up with me. She also mentioned she didn't like how often we went to see my family, 5-ish times a month. That worried me. And I asked her if she felt uncomfortable or anything around my family. And she said no, but talked about how I'm an adult who needs to live my own life. And once again, brought up breaking up with her if I didn't change things. I ended the conversation when it didn't seem like she had anything else to say and said I needed to do some thinking. I thought for a while and finally have made the decision to break things off with her. It's not an easy decision, and I still feel a little ridiculous for breaking it off over something so little as this. But I've come to realize that it's not just that. If this is the kind of person she's going to be and how she's going to go about conflict, I think it's best if I'm no longer with her. I haven't had the conversation with her about that yet, but I know I need to soon. And I sometimes struggle to put my thoughts together the right way. So any advice on how to approach this without setting her off again would be appreciated. Again, thank you for giving me your thoughts. It really helped me to understand things more. And now it's not all of a problem in my head. So for the first time, probably ever, somebody on Reddit really did what they're supposed to do and break up with somebody on Reddit. You know, these times I've been like, y'all should not be together. Y'all got to break up, because for real, y'all got to break up.
Yeah, this is one where if Daryl didn't say it, I would have said it. They do not belong together.
No, not at all. Man.
And that is true. That's not how boundaries work. You don't say, I have a boundary about the way you interact with another person. Like that's bullshit.
Good Lord. But like I said, that was a chunky boy. So I only gave you guys two this week. That was a pretty, as you saw, a wide swath of Emily assholery to discuss there. And we'll leave that be.
I'm confused as to why the fuck. I'm not from the South. I never called my dad sir or never called my mom ma'am. But if someone explained it to me like this poster explained it, I'd be like, oh, okay, and move on. This person was not able to move on after the explanation.
Yeah, exactly. That was our episodes for the week. I hope you enjoyed them. We do them every week. We were doing it before it was cool. And get down there. Entertainment. Let me pull up my notes so I can tell you my entertainment, what I did this week in the realm of entertainment. I finished up Batman Cape Crusader on Amazon Prime. If you got it, you should watch it. Fantastic. A burner of a show, end to end. Very, very good. Very high quality. Well written, well animated. A good time to be had by all. You should be watching Batman Cape Crusader. I went to the movie theater at that mall I told you about and saw Alien Romulus with Vanessa. Got to see it in Dolby Atmos. I think that was my first time in a Dolby Atmos theater. Bruh. This is how you see movies going forward, people. If you have the option to see a film in Dolby Atmos, go do it. Because if all Dolby Atmos theaters are like the experience I had, then sir, madam, non-binary, this is the way you want to watch movies. Of course, I got my seats where I like to sit square in the middle, right in front of the at the bottom of the rows before the bottom of the rows. Stadium seating works. The seats in that theater are heated. I think Box told us about that when he went to see a movie there recently. So I got to experience nicely heated reclining seats. And that movie is, of course, a sci-fi movie with all kinds of explosions and hidden things and skitterings of this, that, and the third. And so, the way Dolby Atmos works is basically you're in a bubble of sound. It's speakers above you, beneath you. So you got a little chair pop. You know what I'm saying? And of course, to your sides and behind you, and so forth and so on. And it works so well. And that is the movie. That's one of the movies that really was a perfect way to experience Dolby Atmos for the first time. Shouts out to the Phoenix Theater at Great Northern Mall. That used to be the theater I went to when it was a Regal mall, and of course when Regal was going through pandemic related closures, they actually closed that theater down. And I thought when the Phoenix company announced they were going to take over this theater, I truly thought they were just going to go in there and spit shine it, what I'm saying, basically do like a flip and just start screening movies there again. But no, they tore that bad boy down to the studs in some situations and put in, like I said, brand new seating, brand new speakers, brand new screens. The lobby looks very different, kind of a nice little vibe to it. Fantastic. They did a great job, and I'm very happy to go to it. Also, they sell such reasonably priced tickets. I went to a movie with me and my lady and spent $16 on tickets for a 1:00 show. So it's like technically after matinee prices should have started. I thought noon used to be the cutoff for matinee, but no. Great price, great experience all around. Alien Romulus. So that's my theater experience, but Alien Romulus was a great movie. I said this when we recorded Cadillac on Mars this week, and I'll say it here again. It's Alien Romulus is to The Force Awakens as both those movies are to Star Wars and, of course, the original Alien. So it's kind of like a return to form, and it's really good in that regard. And I really enjoyed it. I'm a fan of sci-fi, and of course that got me right back in on my sci-fi hustle, which means I was looking for another sci-fi movie to watch over the days after I saw that. And I found a movie on Paramount. Was it on Paramount? I think it was on Paramount Plus. And it is called ISS, about the International Space Station. And in this situation, there are a crew of Russian and American scientists or astronauts on the space station. And the new crew arrives, and at one point they're looking down at the Earth, and they see nuclear explosions start going off. Their countries have declared war on each other and have been shelling each other with nuclear weapons, and both countries have sent missives to their astronauts saying, take over the space station by any means necessary, which of course leads to the astronauts fucking each other up. And it's a real it had apparently been on the blacklist of scripts that hadn't been produced that were people were super interested in. And so they did this movie. It's not super well reviewed. It's like a 6, 7, I think, is what I read places. But I think, you know what? And I, as I think about it, to me, probably like a 7.5. But I'm kind of a sciencey dork in that regard, so I kind of like that. But then I was seeing stuff that I know was wrong. I'm like, that's not how that works in the space station. Because of course, it's not that I know how the space station works, but I'm aware of a lot about the space station. And so I'm like, wait a minute. They are not just whipping out mayo loose on a space station.
They're fighting with mayo?
No, but the dude was making a sandwich, and he's making a sandwich like he would be making it at your table in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Bread laying on the countertop, spread mayo on it. Well, that's not how fucking things work in 0G.
Okay.
So, of course, there's things I noticed, but most people would probably look right past that. But I am a dork of a real specific nature. And so some things bother me. It's about a 7.5 if you thought about it. A fine movie, looked good, well shot, well acted, cool otherwise, and I liked it. ISS, again, it's available on Paramount Plus if you have that as an option. Might suggest you get down with that movie if you are down with some dorky science fiction nonsense. Only thing I played console-wise or computer-wise has been Fortnite. Of course, I'm playing Monopoly Go. Of course, I play a little Pokemon Go. So that's what's up. I'm not reading anything recently. I want to dig up. Oh, I already know what's about to happen next week. The fifth book in the Bobaverse series of books is coming out, which is cool because he had actually said he was done after 4. So I'm kind of excited that he's written another book, and so I'm definitely going to cop that next week and get down with that. So I'm excited for another book in that series of books. If you have not gotten down with the Bibleverse, you can read them, of course, but I would tell you to listen to them. They're only available on Audible, so that's not a Libby kind of situation. But if you have Audible and some credits to blow, get down with the Bibleverse books. They're amazing. Euphoria is what I've been listening to. I've been taking it back to Kendrick's second salvo in his Drake his battle with Drake because for whatever reason I came across a YouTube video discussing it and I was like, man, Euphoria really is a goddamn banger of a song. Let me go back to that, and I have been listening to that again pretty much nonstop. My goal now is to make sure Not Like Us, Euphoria, and Childish Gambino's Lithonia are all 3 on my Spotify end of the year list in my top 5. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening now with intent and purpose. Trust me, I listen to Not Like Us so much that I know it'll be on top on the list. But Euphoria deserves its place as well because that song is a banger. And I guess there's been talk that Drake is like, I want round 2. And I'm like, oh, you poor soul. Somebody pointed out today on TikTok that since this has happened, since the end of this, this back and forth between these two, Drake has released 14 songs, basically hoping one of them hits, and none of them have. Because at this point, now Drake is hit. They have literally made a god bleed, and people are like, I don't fuck with that dude's music anymore. He might be fucking around with kids, or at least is cool with fucking around, or having people around him that fuck around with kids. And now people look at Drake as kind of like gross.
Yeah, why was he friends with Millie Bobby Brown when she was so young?
Bro, exactly. And so people are now look at him with a little bit of suspicion. And so, of course, the only thing he could hope, because like I said, at this point, he's dropped 14 tracks and nobody's fucking with him really. You don't hear people talking about that new Drake joint. And so, of course, people are like, of course he wants another bite of the apple. He wants to fight Kendrick because, of course, that is where the heat would come from. He'd have to make a hit of the magnitude of Not Like Us, and he's not. It's just not going to happen for him. And so that is what it is. So that's what's up with what I've been watching, playing, and listening to. Box, what you been on, man? Anything in the realm of entertainment this week? I know you've been having this headache, so I know you may not this sinus infection. So
the only thing I really watched outside of my usual like live stream watching was I watched the AEW pay per view the other day, and then right before we got on this podcast, I finished Red Notice, the Rock Ryan Reynolds Gal Gadot movie from a couple years ago on Netflix.
Oh,
it was all right.
Good?
Like I actually like I enjoy Ryan Reynolds so much that like I could watch like anything he's in. But the movie itself wasn't bad, and I guess like they already greenlit 2 sequels to it. Like one's supposed to start filming like the end of this year for release next summer or something. So it's good enough to have gotten 2 sequels. It's kind of like it's like a art thief comedy thriller like action movie kind of deal.
Netflix is weird about what they spend money on and don't. Okay. Red Notice on Netflix. Get down if you and Box have a similar taste in cinema. Yeah, man. Do you even get to watch? I mean, what do you get to wedge in here?
Okay, I do have something, and I watched the Scott Peterson documentary on Netflix recently, docu-series, because it's 3 episodes. An American Murder.
Okay.
So this is my long take on this, and you guys know why I feel this way. There is a difference between did the person do it and did the prosecution prove that the person did it.
Okay.
I don't think the prosecution proved that Scott Peterson did it. They proved he was an asshole
Yeah.
and an unlikable dude, but it looked really bad. He did not do himself any favors.
Yeah.
That dude was dumb. He's just a dumb dude.
So for years, I was truly of the mindset that I thought he got railroaded and did not do this. Again, like you said, I never felt like they proved his case. But people are saying who have watched, it's 2 documentaries now. There's one on Hulu as well about this. So it's just
Really?
there's where it just happens to be a time where both these documentaries come out, you know what I'm saying, counter programming each other. And everybody seems to be like, oh, that motherfucker did it. And I'm like, oh, word? Because I just like said,
he probably did, but I still don't think they proved it. And I'm sorry, and that's in our American justice system. Sometimes you get away with murder because the prosecution sucks.
fair, man.
And this time, this guy didn't.
Yeah.
I heard the Innocence Project took his case, and I'm like, he had the best attorneys in California on his case. Is this really what the Innocence Project wants to do? But I'm not a member of the Innocence Project, so if they want to spend their money and their resources on helping him instead of someone more sympathetic, I guess. But
the point is never to just be to find sympathetic people. It is to help those who have been unjustly incarcerated. They ain't all going to be sweethearts. So that's real, man. I wish Anthony Lord, Gabe. I truly wish you were keeping up with, because I like. I feel like you'd have an interesting perspective from it, from just the way you think of the Young Thug YSL Rico case going on down in Georgia.
Yeah, I have not.
It is. If you get a chance, just look up and read a bit into it. It is wild. So wild that, in fact, at one point, they had to kick the judge off the case because he had an ex parte meeting with a witness and the prosecutor.
Oh, you can't do that.
But none of them told the defense attorney.
Oh.
They only looked up and found out about it. And when they found out about it, the judge was mad that they knew about it, not that it occurred or that he was in the wrong. And when it was all said and done, right, the judge himself decided, I'm just going to stay on the case. And then they had to appeal that to the Georgia Supreme Court, who was like, fuck no, you can't stay on this case. You are clearly fucking up. And they had to kick him off the case. They get another judge who is taking it over now. So this jury has been seated now for, I think this was day 120 of this trial. The jury is now apparently mad that they've been kept this long because they were told this is going to be a couple of weeks like trial. They were told this is not going to be anything. We'll be fine. The prosecution has had basically hundreds of witnesses. They had this one particular witness that they gave blanket immunity to. Like nothing can stick to him now. And he's just an idiot, an asshole, and has admitted to all kinds of shit they were trying to put on the people they are trying. It is so crazy how bad a case the prosecution has set forth on this. I just think, like I said, you'd be, like I said, if you get a chance, look up the YSL Rico trial and just read over a little bit of it and just laugh at how truly terrible the state of Georgia prosecution of this case has been. It's bonkers.
Oh, wow.
You too, listeners. You might get down with that. That's our entertainment for the week. Thank you for kicking it with us. Let's go ahead and send this on its merry way. You know what it is. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show wherever possible. Trying to get these YouTube numbers up. We have 40 YouTube subscribers currently. I would like to get that to about 50 by the end of September. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I might tell you to do it because the service we're switching over to auto records and uploads to YouTube. And so going forward, I probably will go in and do a wee bit of editing, like you said, because we don't actually start the show. We don't hit the ground running with the show. There's actually a little bit of a beginning of the show that you don't hear, listeners. And so I don't. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll just leave it in for the YouTube version going forward because people do that shit all the time. You're saying it just is. I just got to maybe throw in a beginning on it. We'll figure it out. But that being said, it's going to probably be more video versions of the show to be had and available. And so get ready for that. And like I said, we'd like to get these YouTube numbers going. So I'm not trying to make dough off YouTube. In fact, I'll never make money off of YouTube because even though the money the music I use for the show I have the license to it, they still have the rights to any money that would come off of it. So don't think I'm trying to get you on YouTube to make money. I just want to try to get us available everywhere we can go and get as many people as possible listen to it and get down. And so YouTube is one of those things. Apple Podcasts, forgive me. There's a web version of it now. You can go on and even if you're on Android or whatever, you can go on and use the web version of Apple Music and write us a review. It'd be dope. You know what I'm saying? Give us a 5-star review and write up a little something to say why you get down with Team SKiM. It just helps, again, bring our presence up and more people see us. That's the point of all these things. The subscriptions to these things I'm asking for, the reviews, I'm asking you to do these because it makes us it gives us more visibility, and more visibility means more people listen to us and get down with the show you already enjoy. And that's all I'm asking for you to do.
I'm a subscriber.
Thank you. And like I said, about to say, if you are on the show and have not subscribed yet, please do. If you want to support the show financially, we got a few stars away. Consider joining us over on Patreon. Remember, at the $5 tier, get extra content each month and early access to new shows. We also got merch over at cpublic.com/user-milk, all one word. Go buy a shirt. The weather is cooling down. It's cooled down substantially today. It was way hotter earlier in the day than it is tonight, and so I'm very happy it cooled down because maybe I can not have my air on all night, for Lord's sake. But you're gonna need a hoodie. It's almost that season, so why not go get yourself a hoodie or a nice long sleeve shirt to get ready for the season and have rock our logo on your chest. Feel free to give us a call 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We would certainly love to hear from you. Our missing man this evening is the 216's on Tatum 216. Get down with the get down and show our man some love. Well, I can erase this recipe in my notes. Remember, I told you last week I was going to put that recipe in my show notes. I did that. If you go to look up this most recent episode, which is called currently, unless something changes in between now and there, it's called. I couldn't think of a show title. Nothing came out of me, so I just named it that. I told you we talked about a recipe on one of the Amateur Assholes last week, and that recipe is right there in the show notes, and a link to the recipe is also in the show notes. You can jump right to that and enjoy some peanut butter stuffed chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, I did that.
So delicious.
That is, of course, the eBay Emperor Lunchbox 2099.
I stayed for the show.
I want y'all to know, it's not the box is like whatever. It's not that his wheels are turning. That's how long the gap is on our sound. I'm watching his mouth move before the words arrive in my ears. It's wild. Okay, here we go. That is the suburban Puerto Rican, my homeboy Gabe. Thank you for joining us, sir. I'm glad that all is going as well as it can go in these situations. Please avoid crossing borders mistakenly going forward, sir.
Just doing it on purpose this Saturday, and I'll be back, folks.
All to the good. Oh, yeah, I guess it's me. I am, of course, the internet's Tay-Rail713. Don't make me push you into traffic. We'll do it next time.
Oh.
Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.